Hello everyone and welcome to the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's your host, Mark Murphy, and joined in the booth as always for the American Motorsports Association, my main man, Sam Crow, and we're here to bring you 134 laps, 200 miles of Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series action live from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Sam, we had a barn burner last night, and I think we're about to have another one tonight, brother. Did you reload your Maylocks?
I did not reload the Maylocks, but I did go see my cardiologist. He said that the adrenaline that went through my body last night was good for me. I don't know how, but it was supposed to be good for me. And I am sure that tonight is not going to be anything less than what we saw last night here in the AMA. I'm excited about what the potential is for the racing here tonight. And these trucks are totally different creatures, and it's going to produce totally different strategies and race prowess. And so I'm very excited about what is ahead of us tonight.
You know, I am too. We've got a lot of the heavy hitters back from last night in the field this evening. Jacob Cannon, currently the quickest in practice. Kendale Paul is here, as is John Guerrera. Adam O'Brien, he ran really well last night.
Ryan O'Donohue.
Ryan O'Donohue is in the house. He's second quick. Brian Sharp. So we've got a bunch of guys that were here last night. Justin Osterman, Ted Craven. We've got some other guys that were not, that you're only going to see on Fridays. So Andy Dunwoody, David Dunwoody, he's in the 28. He's been lightning quick in that truck in practice. He's a Friday night only guy. Same for Liam Anderson. He's running around the number 8. So he's 6th quick. Billy Ewell, he is 4th fast right now. So we've got some guys that are mixed in that were not here last night. But Sam, you mentioned the racing is going to be a little bit different. Kind of talk about the difference, because the trucks do run very differently here.
Oh, no question. The package is different than what you have with the Xfinity cars. The Xfinity cars were much more susceptible to being loose, and I had several drivers. I talked to several drivers today after the event last night, and they were talking about how tired their arms were with the force feedback hitting those bumps in 1 and 2, and the suspension and the travel in the suspension in the Xfinity cars really presents a challenge. However, in the trucks, because they are a bit slower, you can actually run the throttle full throttle through the corners with fresh tires. And the draft does have a little bit of play here. It's not as big as of an importance as it is at Talladega or Daytona, but it does have relevance here, especially on the straightaways. You will see these trucks going 3-4 wide. They'll be pushing the envelope to make up positions, especially early on in the event. So the differences are maybe subtle to some, but they could be large to others. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys are going to race and save tire. You can run 10 laps, 15 laps full out, throttle to the bottom. You can run it that way, but you are going to wear those tires out quickly.
You absolutely will. Speaking of the tires, there are 5 sets that they get. So 1 on the truck, 4 in the box. There are stages here tonight. We're going to do 134 laps total here at the Las Vegas 200 for the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. Stages are going to be at lap 30 and lap 60, so I wouldn't think that tires are going to be that big of an issue until we get down to the last 5 or 10 laps or so in those stages. The fuel is about 45 laps, give or take. You can go a little bit longer if you need to, based on, you can go a little bit longer if you're back in that draft and saving gas. You go flat out, probably closer to 40. So right around 45 laps is the fuel number. And then just to kind of give some basic history of the series here at the track, last year's winner of this race was Kyle Heath. He is not in the field this evening. He also led the most laps. Past winners here at Las Vegas include the aforementioned Andy Dunwoody and Kyle Heath. Dunwoody is here. Heath is not. Corey Swager and Kevin Gettenberger are the past pole winners here at the Las Vegas Speedway. Do want to point out that a lot of people believe that the history of this track, we kind of alluded to it a little bit last night, Sam, would think that it starts with the modern oval that we see here that was built in the late 90s. Sam, do you think that's true?
In what context, Mark?
Yeah, so there's been a racetrack on this site since 1959.
Well, of course, yeah, but, right.
And so,
but not in this configuration, though.
oh no. So this facility was originally built, and you can still see the outline of it in the in part of the outline in the infield. It was originally built as the Stardust International Raceway. So if any of you have seen the so if any of you have seen the movie Casino, read the award-winning Nicholas Pileggi book, this track started with that casino. It was built to attract high rollers. When it was bought by Argent Corporation, aka the Chicago outfit, the track was closed. It was replaced by a facility called the Las Vegas Speedrome, which was a 3/8 mile paved oval, and then they continued use of the road course. They added a drag strip. In 1996, the current 1.5 mile oval was built, and then they moved the drag strip to its current location in 2000. So for those of you who think this place is new, there's been a racetrack here for a pretty doggone long time, Sam.
When was this particular configuration? When was it completed?
95.
When SMI took it over.
It was completed. The track itself was completed in 95. If you remember.
Okay, I thought it was 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 95. If you remember, our good friend and fellow American Richie Hearn got his only IndyCar win here.
That's true.
We found the lost broadcast of that race and watched it with Richie not too long ago. You remember that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had it up in the
Discord.
Yeah, we had it up in the ISRA Discord. He had never seen it.
He never watched it.
Well, so we'll kill the music. The thing with that, Sam, was that ABC had cut away from the race due to another event, and so the last 50 or 60 laps were never aired. And IndyCar, as they do, they pulled the broadcast out of the vault, and they had the missing 60 or 70 laps or whatever it was. And so we posted it in the ISRA Discord, and we were watching it live with Richie. He had never seen it. Nobody had. It had been in the IMS vault for 30 years or whatever it was.
Wow, that is very interesting.
But
I saw it on the Discord, but I just didn't watch it.
Yeah, so that's what that was. That was the inaugural race here at this facility, was IndyCars, the Indy Racing League, and that was the last race. That was the last race, Sam, for the old 2.65 liter engine formula for IndyCar. It was the last race for the it was the last race for the Menard Buick engine, because after that they went to the normally aspirated cars for their
96 motor, the Menard.
Yeah, they went to their 4-liter normally aspirated formula for their 96-97 season after that. I do want to so that's how this facility opened. They got the first Cup race in, I believe, 98, 99. And NASCAR has been coming out here ever since. And it's pretty much become a NASCAR facility. They've reconfigured the banking here to make it a little bit steeper, and it's just no longer suitable for open wheel cars, more or less.
Right.
So that is going to throw the checkered flag on practice. And as we like to do here, fans, we're going to show you some qualifying runs. Let me get the standings up here. We're going to go fastest lap by mile per hour, and we're going to start showing you some drivers that are taking their qualifying runs. We're going to look at Liam Anderson. He's going to go out in the CHEP Jackson Strong Krause Auto Body, ACM on the side of that beautiful looking American flag painted truck. But here he is. Here's Liam Anderson. We'll get the telemetry up, and we'll kind of show the fans what it looks like for a lap in a truck here.
Liam, and the other drivers, what they're going to find is there may be a moment where they have to get a little heat into the tires. It may going through 1 and 2, they want to make sure that they just get a feel for the truck and allow it. Now, some guys will push it on that first lap just simply because they'll be able to handle the adhesion. And getting it down to the bottom is key. Holding the steering wheel still as possible, even in the corners. And then, as you'll see, Liam will cut the dog leg off here, and that's where a tenth or so will be made up, just cutting the dog leg off.
There he goes, looking through the eyes of Liam Anderson. Billy Ewell, he'll go to the top of the board. Liam is second, but the second lap here is the money lap, right, Sam?
Most times. Sometimes you may find someone that can pull that first lap off, but typically the second lap is the one who get you your best speed.
Yeah, and here's Liam.
My experience is that in the night races, the third lap could even be the fast lap.
That's true, but you only get 2 laps in qualifying. Liam Anderson across the line. He is going to pull his machine second quick.
Still
Andy Dunwoody.
Still second.
Yeah, still second. He went quicker. Andy Dunwoody, 179.310, is the quickest truck in Las Vegas currently. Let's look at somebody else. That is Mike George. PRS Setups Shops on the truck. Mark Cofield goes to the top.
Cofield had a tough night last night, up to the top. Yes,
he did, but he's showing his prowess in the trucks here. Mike George, we just saw the fastest lap. Here's another one I bet it's going to be pretty quick. This is Gregorio Dorso.
He's really showed a lot of speed here in the truck series. And he's racy, too. He's not afraid to get up there and mix it up.
No, he's not. The Rory Esports driver has been plenty quick. He's not had a lot of luck, but Gregorio Dorso
No, he's had some things that have worked against him.
But he is 100% shown a lot of speed. Here comes across the line for his first lap. Gregorio Dorso is going to go to 13th quick, and that looks like that's going to be all for Gregorio Dorso.
He's going to be done.
Yeah, we'll go look at Jacob Cannon. Do want to thank everybody.
Jacob Cannon on the field. He was our fastest in practice.
Yep. Do want to thank everybody that's out there watching. The Mystic Whisperer is in here cheering for Mike George. Reaper's Double is always in to cheer on his team. Take a look at the newly painted 51 truck. We'll do it as soon as we get a chance. And then Eagle, hey, hello to you in Florida. Wish we were there. It's getting kind of chilly again here in northern Indiana. So hello to you, and hope you're staying warm. And like you, we wish all the drivers the best of luck. We've got about a minute and 15 seconds and counting left here in qualifying. We're watching the laps for Jacob Cannon. He's on the Speedway. He's taking his time. He was the fastest in practice. And so this is definitely worth watching, Sam. Here it comes.
As he crosses the start-finish line, it will put him in 6th spot.
There he goes.
I will tell you also in qualifying, when you're in Las Vegas, as soon as qualifying starts, it's usually a good idea on a day race to get out on the track as quick as you can. Because when in the time of the day that it is, the track is only going to get hotter by the minute. So 1 degree can really make a big difference in your qualifying speed.
You know, that's very true, Sam.
So let's say 2.5 minutes in, if you go out immediately, the track temperature, of course, may be 96 degrees. But then 2.5 minutes later, it could be 97 degrees. And 1 degree can make a big difference in your qualifying speed.
Or you could get the magic cloud right and cool it off 1 degree.
Oh.
We've seen that happen.
Every qualifier begs for that cloud.
Every one of us does. 73 degrees on the track, as Sam was talking, or 73 degrees in the air here at virtual Las Vegas tonight. 96 is
Nevada sun
is the track temperature. And Sam, we've got ourselves a starting lineup. How about that?
And look who has topped it with almost an identical speed with Mike George, Kendall Paul.
How about that?
I have them on my results at 30.498 apiece.
You know, that's pretty incredible. We're waiting on the music to get in here to take us away into the starting field. And there we go. On the pole, Kendall Paul, 179.6995 to the 4th decimal place with the same time. Mike George, he'll start on the outside pole. Now, just so everybody's aware, iRacing does know who the faster car was down to the 10th decimal place. So it knows.
The timing could go down to the 10,000th of a second.
Yeah, so iRacing knows. It just doesn't show us. Paul Witt, Mark Cofield, they're going to be in row 2. In row 3, Justin Osterman and Ryan O'Donohue. Jacob Cannon and David Dunwoody, they're going to make up row 4. Michael Kirk and Andrew Miller, they're going to start 9th and 10th. In 11th, we're going to have James Hodgson. 12th, John Guerrera. In 13th, the Teddy Bear, Ted Craven. He'll start next to Tanner Hacker. Colby Pierce is going to go 15th. He'll start alongside Keith Graham. In 17th, John Hutchins and the aforementioned Gregorio Dorso. In 18th, Liam Anderson in that nicely painted American flag truck. He will go 19th, and Ken Holland is going to round out your top 20. In 21st, Billy Ewell. 22nd, Brian Sharp. It's a lot less loud for the 125 tonight on the paint scheme, and hopefully he avoids the trees, Sam. Braden Langley, he'll be...
Did he tone it down?
He toned it down a little. Braden Langley's going to be 23rd. Jeremy Dunwoody, that's Andy's brother, he'll go 24th. Marlon Alvarez in the 95, he'll be 25th. Andrew Collins, 26th. Paul French is 27th. Jason Southard will flank him in 28th. The 15th row, Sam. 15th row, Jalen Story and Donald Green. Shotgun on the field tonight is going to be Chuck Sweeting and Adam O'Brien. Adam in that 87 is going to be lightning quick. I do not believe he's going to be back there very long, Sam.
Oh, no. Adam O'Brien has proved that he loves this place, and he's quite good at it. So there may be a strategy here by Adam, or he could have just missed qualifying altogether. But either way, look for the 87 to make his way up through the field tonight. He may be our hard charger of the night. Speaking
of clouds, Sam, it got awful dark here in virtual Las Vegas while I was reading that.
Listen, that's good for racing. That's just good for racing.
You know,
it certainly helps with adhesion for the trucks as they go take the green flag here, as the pace car is in now. Pace truck, excuse me.
Pace truck is in. The green flag is out. Barney has it. Kendall Paul is going to lead him down underneath the green flag, and away we go. 134 laps, 200 miles here at virtual Las Vegas, and they get down into turn 1.
The push that Osterman is giving Kendall Paul just right off the bat.
Yeah, and they got Paul Wood up there with him too. Now you got to remember, Osterman and Paul, they are teammates. They're working together. You've got Mike George as part of that Dark Horse Black Magic group. Paul Wood.
Oh, we got one loose in front of the field. Oh, he saves it. It's going to check up a lot of. Oh, he still loses.
Now we got cars going through the infield.
Now we're wrecking.
Now we're wrecking. That's oh boy, that's Ted Craven involved. He had an early night last night, and poor Ted Craven, he has the bad luck. The bad luck has struck again. It doesn't appear as though the Teddy Bear is in much trouble other than just a spin. This is all going to start with the 54 Michael Kirk, and then that is the 88 of that's well, the 88 gets by him, actually. I thought the 88 was going to hit him square. The 54, though, still trying to save it. He's fighting it and can't save it anymore. Little bit of net code. Through the infield goes Ted, and then the door
they
slammed.
Were checking up behind him, but then you've got some drivers, boy, they really just kind of forced it in there.
Yeah, and
we call that ARCA braking.
You know, I don't know if that's necessarily ARCA braking. Is you just can't. You got the guy trying to save it. I thought everybody did a pretty good job of staying off of. I thought everybody did a pretty good job of staying off the 54 of Michael Kirk. Sure. It just got to the point.
Yeah, no, staying off of him. But there was one that came up through the field that was in front of Brian Sharp. And I can't. It has an 18 on the car, but I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's an iRacing or a trading paint miss.
You know, it could be. You know who's back for more, Sam?
Who's that?
Mike Rigney is back. He's asking for a show as exciting as it was last night. We're watching the 72, the 54, and the 30 after a little bit of a first lap fracas. Nobody hit anything very hard. They took a sojourn through the grass, and the yard has been mowed. I think
everyone should be able to clean their trucks up and get back out into the event. I don't think anyone's going to be so damaged that they can't come back out.
Now, Ken Holland has already punched out of his truck, so that would have been a separate incident. John Hutchins is on the pit lane, as is Colby Pierce, Ted Craven, Michael Kirk, David Dunwoody, and Chuck Sweeting. All of those trucks are affecting repair, and so we're going to see them. We're going to see them try to get cleaned up. And you're right. You get a little bit of a fender bent here, as Colby Pierce has done. You can get that fixed. There was no.
Oh yeah, no question. Yeah, no question. They'll be able to pull the fenders off the tires and do a little bit of repair work. But a lot of it will be just, some may have to change tires if they slid the tires too much, and then just some superficial damage. I didn't see anything that would constitute someone being disqualified from the race at all.
No, I didn't even see anything that would be much more than maybe a minute.
Yeah, just optional. Yeah, optional.
Optional damage.
No question.
Everybody is off the pit lane now, according to my timing and scoring. Give a look back from the pace truck.
But being the first lap, that would be about when the truck is going to be its loosest, is on that first lap. And of course, we don't know what adjustments Michael Kirk may have put into his wheel. I mean, he may have put too much wheel into it, and that may be maybe the reason why he came around a little bit. He just had a little too much steering input, and then when you hit that low side of 4, or get in as you start to make your exit off of 4, then you start to lose the back of the truck. But I hope that we don't see much of that tonight. Just my experience is once you get a lap in there and the heat gets in the tires, you can pretty much hold the truck.
Yeah, it's just getting the tires up to temperature, and we kind of alluded to this last night, Sam. You know, this is week 13. There was a massive 28-29 gig update as we get ready to go back to green flag action here.
Yes.
There was a massive update that happened in the iRacing service. Paul Witt, excuse me.
Dustin Osterman must have started in the wrong gear. That's the only thing that can explain that.
You know, and that's possible. You know, you're not paying attention. There's always that call that goes out among teammates, and Osterman certainly is on a big one here.
Look at all the positions he's, way up there. He checked up the low line completely.
Yeah, he fell all the way from 3rd to 5th. He's got things wound up now. Leader Paul Witt, Kendall Paul, and we've got a spinner, and that's the 33. That's going to be Mike George. He is around in front of the field.
It's too early to be pushing. Too early to be making that kind of contact.
Sam, you said it, and this one is going to be more than a few seconds of repair here. I
don't know if I'm trying to see if Mike George tapped the wall coming off of 4, but it doesn't look like he did. It looked more like Ryan O'Donohue was closer to the wall than Mike George. He did. Ryan O'Donohue caught the wall, and then he gets into the back of Mike George. It's just too early to be making contact like that. But again, it could be just incidental.
Yeah, you see him kind of filtering up the track. Well,
I do want to qualify, if you don't mind. I do want to qualify that when we're making these calls up here, we one thing that we can never, unless it is just egregiously obvious, we can never imply intent. All we can do is call what we see. So
no,
I want to make sure that we qualify that.
And everybody did an amazing job there. The 30, it appeared as though Kendall Paul might have touched the wall. 33 checked up just ever so slightly for Mike
that's
George.
What I was looking at as well. Yeah.
And then you get a chain reaction, but a great work by everybody behind them to avoid. Yeah, you had Osterman go through the grass. Looked as though Mark Cofield he might have broken loose momentarily, gathered the truck back up, but everybody gets away with it, and that's the great thing here. Of course, Mike George is going to go to pit lane. He's going to effect repair, as is Osterman. Ted Craven is back down. We're looking. We're going to take a look at the teddy bear in the 30, the Premier Setups machine. He's He's looking at trying to get that truck the rest of the way fixed from his earlier action, as is Colby Pierce, Storm Tracker 78 on the side for him. John Hutchins, he's still working on the 72, and you can see the left front fender caved in on that one. So, this might be a little bit of a blessing in disguise for some of those guys who were kind of, they were kind of been up in that earlier accident that wasn't anybody's.
All right, and that could very well be the case for Ken Aylen as he is disconnected from the server and called it a night. I mean, I'm sure it's discouraging before 10 laps and you're already out. So I feel bad for Ken.
I think all of us would echo that. We are under caution here. Go ahead.
One thing these drivers really have to take into consideration too is that even though you can hold that pedal down and you can flat foot this truck around for a number of laps, when you're in traffic, when you're following someone, there is an arrow push, and especially coming off of 4 and 2. So yeah, you have to take that into consideration when you're racing someone that close, because like we see with Kendall and Ryan O'Donohue were just barely scraping the wall, and then Mike George was probably made an adjustment there to keep from hitting Kendall Paul. Those other two drivers could very well be experiencing that push that comes with being in impact racing here at Las Vegas.
Yeah, and we're going to look off the back of the pace truck here at the field. It's been whittled down a little bit. We still do have 30 cars in the field. Mike George has decided to call it quits. He has punched out of the 33. Ted Craven will be shotgun on the field, but the Teddy Bear has continued to work on that number 30. Colby Pierce in the 42, Jacob Cannon in that same boat. Cannon stopped for 5.3 seconds under that last yellow flag, and so that indicates to me that Jacob's just topping up on fuel, maybe looking for advantage here when we come to the stage break.
It's very possible when you try those strategies, you could put yourself in peril, or you could come out looking like a champ. So that's why it's Las Vegas. Sometimes you take a gamble.
Got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, though, Sam. The pace truck is getting ready.
Kenny Rogers is not in this field.
No, and his fried chicken restaurants have all closed. But the gambler remains on our minds, especially when.
And what was his name in the Gambler? What was his character's name?
Oh golly, I can't remember. I just remember.
I can't either.
I remember the pitcher Kenny Rogers, longtime hurler for the Texas Rangers. Every time Chris Berman would feature him on SportsCenter, he would play the game.
Brewster Baker in Six Pack, wasn't it?
Yeah. Brewster Baker's who you're thinking of. Green
Maverick was the no. Oh well.
Never
back to racing. I am not Siskel or Ebert.
That's all right. Are we getting a green flag here?
We're back to racing.
I guess I am still under some sort of.
We're on lap 12 and we're under racing.
Somehow my system got stuck, and I'm sorry, fans. My system got stuck in the room. It was like, are they going back to green or what?
Oh no, we're back.
We are back. Ryan
O'Donohue is actually making the pass on the 29 of
Paul Witt.
And Paul Witt's not going to go quietly, so they're going to be door to door again as they come across the start finish line.
And there you see him. Kendall Paul is the interested observer. He is third. James Hodgson is going to run fourth, and he has a full view of Andrew Miller, who has pulled it up to fifth, and that's another truck that we would anticipate that would be going toward the front. Ryan O'Donohue is going to make the move on Paul Witt one more time. O'Donohue to the lead, and here comes Kendall Paul. He's going to challenge for second. Mike Rigney has answered the question for us there, Sam. Brady Hawks.
Thank you, Mr. Rigney. I could not think of what his name was in the movie.
I couldn't either. Brewster Baker, of course, is the character that Kenny Rogers played in the class. Yeah, the classic NASCAR movie Six Pack.
Yeah. Well, they're putting on a show up here. These two they both want to lead.
Yeah, they are. And it's I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what it's doing for their tire life, and I don't know what it's doing for their fuel mileage. But it is really good looking TV. Halfway through this first stage, we're working lap 15 of 134 here at Virtual Las Vegas. Do want to give a call down and a shout out to Archway Industrial Coatings. They're a St. Louis-based flooring company that's been getting the job done for many years over there in St. Louis. They do epoxy and urethane flooring solutions that withstand the test of time. They meet their customers' installation schedules and budgets, and they're committed to doing the highest quality work at the lowest possible cost every time. They're strong and stable, and they're accredited by the Better Business Bureau. So if you're looking for industrial flooring, commercial flooring, restaurant flooring, retail flooring, or concrete repair at home, you found the perfect partner to get the job done now. Get ready to floor it with Archway. Visit their website. That's archwaycoatings.com. Still looking at this front pack, Sam. We've got about the front 10 that have broken away. That's led by Paul Witt and Ryan O'Donohue, Kendall Paul, Andrew Miller is fourth. You got a battle for fifth with Tanner Hacker and James Hodgson. And then behind them is the 8 of Liam Anderson, the 59 of John Guerrera, the 67 of Billy Ewell, and Brian Sharp in 10th in the 125. That is the silver and black, mostly silver, somewhat black. The top 10 have separated themselves from Keith Graham in 11th. And I know we've got some Keith Graham fans out here. Eagle is with us tonight watching. Your man is in 11th, but he's been separated a little bit from the main pack. And Sam, you got to ask the question: is that strategic, or is it intentional, or is it intentional, or is it?
Well, strategic would be intentional, right?
Well, but is it strategic?
Intentionally applying your strategy. So,
yeah, I mean,
again, we cannot predict intent for these drivers, but we can always make the assumption that when certain drivers make big decisions, someone's going down pit lane right now as we're speaking. Some of them will make big decisions in what they're going to do and how they're going to approach the stages. If you remember, I had mentioned a couple of weeks ago that
John
there
Hutchins
may be
is
some
the car in pit lane, by the way.
That they were that there may be some drivers that are back in the pack and they know that they can't make up that kind of ground, especially in these trucks. So what they may do is just try to run a different strategy so that at the next segment after the stage that they'll have more track position, would be their hope. So there could be a number of strategies playing out. But they have plenty of tires, like you had said before the qualifying. They have plenty of tires to make some decisions and make it work for them.
They do indeed. And the reason I put the weather graphic up there, Mike Reading wants to point out that there is dark cloud cover in Las Vegas. Do these trucks?
And it's 6 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock Vegas time.
Right. So the lights are going to be on shortly, Mike. If it's a little dark from inside the cockpit, you can just strap the headlight to the front of your helmet and see out the front that way. It is mostly cloudy though, so
Mike Rigney is from West Virginia. I'm sure he can find a coal miner's helmet somewhere around.
I'm sure he can. I'm sure he can. I'm sure he'll tell me exactly what to do with that coal miner's helmet too, Sam.
And he would too if he found the need to do so.
If only we got Matt Wagner and Greg Evans in the chat arguing about whether Greg should drive an IndyCar, we'd have last night right on all over again.
Wags all in his feelings last night. It was funny.
Meanwhile,
man, what a great show. Christian Light pulling out on the outside here at the front.
Yeah. Well, that's Andrew Miller. He's moved up.
Unusual. Have you seen James Hodgson's truck? What an unusual way to put your numbers on the top, on the dome of the truck. Did you notice that?
Let's take a look at it. That's the Yorkshire T number 88. Yeah, he's got him facing the front.
Yeah, exactly. I've never seen anyone do that. That's quite the flavor.
Yeah, don't tread on T on the front of that Yorkshire T machine. He runs
it's a great looking truck.
It is. He runs it in fifth, and
this field is really spread out, Mark.
It is, and I gotta wonder if guys are just kind of saving it, or if the tires have gone away. The front 5 have now separated from Tanner Hacker a little bit. The second 6, which is Hacker, Anderson, John Guerrera, Brian Sharp, and Billy Ewell, They have separated a little bit from Keith Graham. Well, no, Graham has pulled up on them. Gregorio Dorso now is going to lead a group with Chuck Sweeting, Adam O'Brien, Justin Osterman, those guys. But everybody other than this top 5 is more or less single file. Andrew Miller was second a moment ago. He has gotten kicked back to 5th. The aforementioned James Hodgson, he is going up to 4th. So that's that battle. Meanwhile, Kendall Paul is going to work on Paul Witt for the lead one more time.
As the tires begin to get a little bit wear, we're 25 laps into this run. As the tires begin to get a little wear on them, you will see them kind of equalize. And so, depending on how hard they're pushing the truck, the wear may variate for each truck, depending on whether they're letting up just a fraction off the throttle on entry and just trying to get the truck to the bottom, or if they're letting off even longer and just being patient. And like you said, some of these trucks that are further in the field, they could very well just be waiting and making a late run.
That's very true. And Sam, we've seen over these AMA events, we've seen some caution. We've seen some caution flags. And maybe you got guys that are just kind of trying to wait. Maybe they're just kind of trying to wait.
Well, I know for myself. I know for myself, my particular driving style.
Let the race come to you, Sam?
Yeah, I do. I really do, because I want to race in the area that I'm the most comfortable. I don't want the fast guys forcing me to race over my head. I want to run my race and my pace, and usually it will work to my benefit in the end result. I've been guilty in the past. And that's probably one of the hardest things that I had to learn in racing open wheel with you, Mark, and Mike, and in Lionheart, was that I was trying so hard to keep pace with you guys instead of allowing myself to learn at my own pace.
Yeah, and that's going to be the key in any race is to drive to your ability, let things come to you. I'll tell you guys
Ryan O'Donohue on the wall again.
Yeah, I was going to say Ryan O'Donohue's letting the wall come to him. He bounces off the turn 4 fence as he goes into 3rd. Meanwhile, Kendall Paul is taking the lead from Paul Witt, O'Donohue to 3rd, Hodgson to 4th. Andrew Miller has gone back to 5th. And here's a truck that you had said earlier was not going to stay in the back for very long. Adam O'Brien started 32nd in this deal. We're coming up to the end of the first stage at lap 30. He is right outside that top 10.
He's 11th.
He is 11th indeed. Say hey, Lewis Hayes.
He's pressuring Gregorio Dorso to 10th. He is pressuring him.
Yeah, he's trying to get there. Say hey, Lewis Hayes joins us. He says you sound like Ned Jarrett, Sam.
And that's a compliment. Ned Jarrett is probably one of the greatest gentleman drivers in NASCAR history. He lives here, or lived here close to where I live. I've met Ned on many occasions in Hickory, and just a superb man and individual, and a great asset to the NASCAR history.
Yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't classify Ned Jarrett as one of the greatest gentlemen of NASCAR. I'd say he's one of the finest gentlemen. Period. That
no question.
As a sportsman.
Oh, we got a caution on the racetrack.
Yeah, and that is for the stage. That is for the end of the first stage. Kendall Paul is going to bring home the first stage here tonight at Las Vegas. Paul Witt going to be second. Ryan O'Donohue is third. There's your stage winner, Kendall Paul, and let's bring him on up here. Kendall Paul, you got Mark and Sam Crow in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got that thing slowed down yet, brother?
Trying to find the pace car already. Have you seen it?
You've outrun it.
I did not
completely outrun it.
I did not know that it was my turn to watch the pace car today. Talk about that first stage and that battle with Witt, and what you think it's going to take to stay up there for the rest of this deal.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot about taking the runs when you can get them. That's what it was all there. Stage 1 there, and always been really good on the mile and a half in the truck series. So really excited to be here at Vegas. Just hoping the technical bugs stay away from me because I've been having some issues with freezing here lately. But knocking on wood right now, it's looking like it's stabilized right now so far.
It is
Your connections look good through the broadcast.
They do indeed. It is week 13, so we do hope those bugs stay away. We're watching from the back of the pace truck. It looks like everybody is coming down pit lane. Kendale, we wish you the best of luck, brother, and we'll go ahead and drop you back in with your team. Keep up the great work.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good broadcast.
Yes, sir. That is Kendale Paul. He is your race leader, winner of stage 1. We just dropped him out of the booth so that he can make his pit stop in the 78, and we'll go ahead and watch it here for us. Do want to thank everybody that's tuning in. Another massive audience here for this one, Sam. The AMA is doing splendidly well with the viewing public. We do want to thank everybody that's out there watching. Chat is awesome. It's engaged. So thank you for everybody for doing that. If you haven't already done so, and by YouTube analytics, about half of you have not, go ahead and hit the like button on the video. Ring the bell to subscribe. Those two things are absolutely free, and they do drive us higher in that YouTube algorithm. Throw a chat in there. We'd be happy to respond to anything you guys say, like Christian Light. He's cheering on his Danger Close Racing teammates this evening. And so, like I said, hit the like button, ring the bell to subscribe, and you'll be notified not only of all future P1 Broadcasting iRacing broadcasts, but you'll help move us up in that algorithm as we drive to 1,000. Saying we're edging close to 850, 848 at the start of this race. The goal is 1,000 by Indianapolis. So you think we can hit it, brother?
Well, we can certainly hope so. I mean, the subscribers we've picked up and I'm assuming that's what you were talking to. I was listening to in-race chatter.
They're trying to figure out how they're going to pass
before Indy.
Yeah, they're talking about how they're going to pass Kendale Paul and Paul Witt. It's a lot of Pauls.
Oh, I see.
It's a lot of Pauls up there, isn't it?
It must be in the name. Paul, well, one last name, one first name. I was preoccupied because something was going on the track with Mike George, or was it Donald Green? I'm not sure. Donald Green and someone else, and so I was trying to look back through the replay and see what had happened with Donald Green.
Yeah, there is Donald Green. He's sitting on pit lane. He's been on.
Yeah, apparently something happened under yellow, and it brought damage onto him. I'm sure he'll pop into the chat. Donald's been very good about popping in and saying some things in the race before and after. So
yes, he has. But Donald Green sits on pit lane under repair, 1 minute and 37 seconds. Marlon Alvarez in the 95 is also on pit lane. He of course sits in that Liam Anderson sponsored machine. Get a good look at Donald Green. The whole right side looks like it's missing off the target.
Yeah, he had said something had happened. He was trying to make a position, and apparently there was contact with someone else, and it gave him significant damage. And so I was just trying to go back and look and see what that was under caution. It's very rare that things like that happen under caution.
Yes, it is. Green. We've got green flag racing coming back though.
Kendale gets a big jump.
Yeah, and you wonder if that's too big.
Well, when you have Ryder Donahue who can fall right in line, it just connects everything. It could very well, like Kendale was saying when he was up here in the booth with us, it could very well bring on these big runs, because on the straightaways you will get a draft effect. Not so much in the corners, but you will get it on the straightaways, and so that's where the runs are going to happen.
Yep, Ryan O'Donohue is drafted right by Paul Witt. He's gone to second. He'll try to run down Kendale Paul. We've got caution on the Speedway. Liam Anderson goes through the grass. There's Liam going through we had the 59 on the apron. So that's how this all starts. 59 on the apron.
But I don't see what would constitute a caution.
Well,
there was just incidental contact. Liam Anderson was the 59 was loose, and then they made contact, and then Liam was able to save the truck and get it through the infield, but I don't understand why the caution came out.
Yeah, I don't know
unless him sliding across the pit entrance there would have caused that.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, and Donald Green has checked in and said that that he in the 95 did indeed have contact under yellow, and he had to have a tow, and he's going to be done for the day. The way iRacing triggers yellows, Sam, is speed differential on live racetrack, and I guess it's down to where what is coded as live for each individual track. Sometimes if you get real slow but you're down on the apron, it doesn't throw the yellow. But then if you're
right,
if some tracks, if you spin into certain areas, it'll throw the yellow. Correct. Even though you're well off the racing surface. And it could be that he just dipped below that.
Just where he slid at the pit entrance. I mean, in that little triangular area there at pit entrance, he was completely sideways at one point. So it could have very well
triggered it.
Constituted a caution there.
It could have, and we know that
it's really a shame. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to caution anyway, but it's a shame that it would call a caution on that. But I'm sure Liam Anderson, if he was losing any ground because he had to go through the infield, Liam Anderson and John Guerrera both are probably glad that there's a caution and they don't lose a lot of time. Track position.
Oh, I'm sure they are, and he's probably double happy he doesn't. He's probably double happy he gets to cool those tires off. Because they're gonna be nice and mad at him, Sam, after you get a truck.
Yeah, they're gonna be screaming, "We're hot, we're hot!"
But he's gonna pull it in behind Brian Sharp. He's in 18th, so Liam Anderson's gonna have a chance here to gather it back up and get going again. We are one lap to green. Do want to thank all of the sponsors here in the AMA series: Archway Industrial Coatings. We've mentioned them earlier. Admin Box, Blackmagic Studios, Trak Racer, and Rogue Energy Drink. We're looking at the 18 machine of Liam Anderson. The Kraus Auto Body Chevrolet, he was the cause of the last caution, but he's back out in 18th place. And Mike, it's going to start getting a little bit lighter here, brother. The lights are coming on.
Well, night racing does make it more interesting. It can pull the field in. It certainly will help with tire wear. If the track begins to cool off, and the track temp actually is very friendly right now. It's really almost at an optimal temperature at 77 degrees.
You mentioned pull. In my experience, when the sun goes down, it tends to pull the pin on the grenade, Sam, and the action tends to pick up. I don't know what it is about night racing, but when you start seeing the shadows on the cars, it starts getting frantic quick. Kendall Paul is going to lead Ryan O'Donohue and Paul Witt, Andrew Miller and company back to the green flag. Paul hits the loud pedal. We're back underway here at Las Vegas.
Another big jump for Kendall Paul, and the lines behind him organized a little bit more evenly this time. It seems like the restarts are really a challenge for the drivers tonight, and they're trying, like I said earlier, they're going to try and make up positions earlier in the run, and that's where we're seeing a lot of our cautions is on the first or second lap of a restart. So let's hope that we can get through this and go ahead and get this second segment out of the way.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you can get past the first couple of laps, it seems like we can get going. Mike checked in with our discussion on what triggered the yellow, and he said it's based on rotation, Sam. So if the vehicle gets more than a certain amount out of shape on the racing service, it's gonna trigger the yellow. We'll have to get a judge's ruling on that. I always thought it was velocity on the racing surface because I've seen cars stop. We had that happen.
Yeah, at a bigger angle.
Well, I've seen him stop at a perfect angle on the racetrack and trigger a yellow. We had a bit of controversy with that in a pretty big time open wheel series I'm involved in.
Oh, that's a precise definition, Mike Rigney. We appreciate your input. We really do.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. Maybe somebody can get a hold of iRacing and see if what the parameters are for triggering the yellow. I'll tell you what the parameter is for triggering the lead. That's Andrew Miller. He's gone by Paul Witt for that top spot. Witt's going to cross him up and go back to second.
Paul Witt's proved he does not want to give up the lead if he can help it.
No, and he's part of that first gear racing stable, and Paul Witt is one of those guys who is always he's like Jacob Cannon, and Jacob Cannon's worked his way back up to sixth. He's one of those guys. He's one of those drivers that is always going to want to be up at the front. As we go three wide here, back in the pack.
Wow, that's close. Wow, that's close.
Billy Ewell, Chuck Sweeting almost come to grief, and then Adam O'Brien and Billy Ewell nearly make contact. Meanwhile, Justin Osterman all over the back of the 67, pushing him down into turn one. Adam O'Brien, though, he's the hard charger in that admin box truck. He's come all the way from the back in 32nd.
And now he's cracked the top 10 already.
Yeah, now he's cracked it. Well, he's 11th. He's looking at 10th.
Hacker's just making it, kind of forced his way into that.
Now he's in the wall. Kendall Paul.
In the wall. Yeah,
Mike,
he kind of forced that nose right there underneath Kendall Paul going into 3. He'd been trying to stick it in there for the lap prior, and so he finally got it in there, and Kendall got a little pushy coming off of turn 4, and so it made for an exciting ride. But Kendall Paul did a great job of saving the truck as they're 3 wide back there, and Kendall thinks the better of it.
Indeed he does. Tanner Hacker, he's the man on the mission. He's going to go to 3rd. Jacob Cannon going to go to 4th. Kendall Paul has slid all the way back to 10th. I wonder if that's getting out of the Hornet's nest or if he managed to get some damage with that wall contact.
Well, it was significant contact because there was a big correction after he hit the wall. So he may just be trying to feel the truck out and see if there's any significant way that it might be handling different. But he's still holding the draft, and he's making a pass now even as we're speaking. So I think he should be okay. Yeah, as long as the nose is not damaged or the rear spoiler.
Yeah, he's working the high line with Ewell Sweeting. He's got Justin Osterman down below him, following the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. That is stage 1 winner, Kendall Paul. I'll tell you what, you are not going to miss the chrome pink and black on that 75, Sam.
No, there's no way. Chuck Sweeting decided that he wanted to have a paint scheme tonight that was going to get some attention on the broadcast, and he wins the award. There's no question.
We were 3 wide momentarily with Braden Langley, Liam Anderson, and Keith Graham. Everybody gets sorted out, but that was about to be a mess going down the backstretch, and that's going to let Gregorio Dorso and Brian Sharp. Brian, watch out for the trees out there, brother. But that's going to bring Brian.
Oh, there's a big spin. Chuck Sweeting is in the wall. They're still kind of bumping into each other back there. Still no caution on the racetrack.
No, and Justin Osterman and Chuck Sweeting came together. They collected the 67 of Billy Ewell. There was contact with the wall. Kendall Paul somehow avoids that, as does Adam O'Brien. They're going to take evasive action.
Oh, it was just so close there. I think there may have been a thought there that maybe just kind of pushed 3 wide. Justin Osterman maybe thought better of it at the last second than he.
Well, they didn't think better of anything. They're still 3 wide going through there. Andy Dunwoody coming through the middle. He tags the back of the 44 of Jalen Story. Sam, I'm going to have to start getting my Rolaids again.
Now you were asking if I was medically cleared. I'm going to worry about you for the rest of the night.
Ooh, my goodness. John
Guerrera has just called it a night.
Yeah, as has Marlon Alvarez in the 95, Mike George and Ken Holland. They have punched out John Hutchins and Donald Greener on pit road. John Hutchins has rejoined the race after 5 minutes of repair. Donald Green, more than 12 minutes. Billy Ewell is on pit road. We're watching Andy Dunwoody. He is 20th, working on the back of Jalen Story. He's got teammate Colby Pierce right behind him. And he's got Ted Craven, the teddy bear. He's making moves in 18th. That poor man he got to run 2 laps last night in the Grand National race.
Oh,
was involved in something that wasn't his fault.
Did you just call it the Grand National?
Well, that's what it's called, the Black Magic Studios Grand National Series.
I know, it just catches me off guard that we still have a contingency of people that call it the Grand National. I just love it.
I still call it the Busch Grand National Series all the time.
Yeah, but I thought I was the only one.
No. You'll know somebody's really old if they call it the Budweiser Sportsman Series.
I've watched many of those races at Hickory Motor Speedway, that's for sure. Yeah,
and I do wish. I think that's kind of a sad day when the trucks and the trucks now, the Xfinity Series, that they moved away from places like Hickory, the beach. Stopped going to some of those.
Yeah, well, Myrtle Beach doesn't exist any longer.
Well, right, but what I'm saying is, had they not stopped going there, it may still.
Yes.
The commercial viability of those half mile, 3/4 mile tracks that dot the Southeast had the trucks in the Xfinity series continued to go there as they did, in the early 90s, which really late 80s, early 90s, probably the heyday of NASCAR racing. Had they continued to go there, those tracks may have remained viable and still be around. Bowman Gray kind of got saved because it's a unique thing.
And
Wilkesboro was a unique legal situation, so it survived the wrecking ball. But a lot of those places are gone because
the ownership of that track was still intact. Bruton Smith and the family still owned that track, so there was always a propensity and a call in the state that they wanted to bring that track back. There was always plans in the back of their mind that they wanted to bring that track back.
Yeah. And Mike Rigney saying, hey, Richmond, we're watching back in the pack here. This is everywhere from 15th to about 25th. Cody Witt checks in and says, "Go Paul Witt." Cody's a handy racer in his own right. Richmond night race. I can remember Richmond being snowed out. That used to be the race immediately following Daytona. You remember those days, Sam?
Oh, I remember those days. I actually remember having snowball fights and throwing snowballs at drivers and drivers throwing snowballs back at us at Bristol. So in the April race. Oh yeah, we had snowball fights with race drivers. They would come out onto the racetrack and we'd be throwing snowballs at one another from the stands and from the track. They were trying to stand up on the banking and throw snowballs at us. It was a lot of fun.
We did have a spring race at Bristol that I went to. Oh, you remember the Kurt Busch Snow Angel deal? It was like mid 2000s. He was driving for Roger Penske, I believe. I seem to recall that I was at that one when it snowed, and he won the race and got out and started doing Snow Angels on the start finish line. We're watching the three wide battle. That's Andy Dunwoody. He is 17th. Colby Pierce is 19th. Braden Langley. Braden Langley has made the mistake of being 18th, and that is just a mess of cars. I don't know how to describe that other than it is a mess.
In Southern terms, we call that a gaggle.
that is a mess.
We call that a gaggle.
That is a mess. Paul Witt leads it from Jacob Cannon, Ryan O'Donohue leads it from Paul Witt, Jacob Cannon, James Hodson, and Tanner Hacker. But we're watching this because this is, if it ain't a mess, it'll do till the mess gets here. They're three wide again, Sam.
I've seen Braden Langley the last few laps. It looks like he's got a handful of that truck. For some reason, he really seems to be just trying to maintain control and keep his lane. I mean, he's doing a great job, considering that he seems a bit loose at times and tight at others.
Whoa, car in the wall. That's a 32.
Wall. Yeah, two are in the wall.
Yeah, that Southern and Langley both get in the wall, and that's going to break up this battle. Jason Southern is extremely slow. We had the camera on him. He's dropped to under 100 miles an hour, and he's going to be bringing that truck to the attention of pit lane. Mike Rigney says, I have to ask you, we're going to go check in on the lead because Ryan O'Donohue has pulled away from Paul Witt, and they have separated themselves from Hodson and Cannon, who make up the second two. And then you've got Tanner Hacker, Andrew Miller, Kendall Paul, Osterman, and Adam O'Brien doing battle for 5th through 9th. Mike wants me to ask you about the 18-inch corn dog at Richmond.
We can't talk about the corn dog because that's all on Mike Rigney.
No, he told me to ask you. He said that you found an 18-inch corn dog at Richmond. I would love to know where this is because I'm kind of hungry.
It was a deep fried corn dog. At that time, Mike and I and several of our friends had met at Richmond for the racing there, and there was a vendor that would actually. It wasn't. I don't know that it was completely 18 inches. It was more like 12.
We got caution on the Speedway.
Caution on the racetrack. Caution on the racetrack.
And that is lap 60. That is the second stage yellow. So we've made it. Your second stage winner is going to be Ryan O'Donohue, and we're going to see if we can't get Ryan over here and get him in the booth right quick. I hate to break up the story about the corn dog. I want to hear more about this.
Please do.
No,
By all means, break it up.
We're going to hear more about
Mike
this.
is just trying to start trouble in the broadcast.
Ryan O'Donohue is not in the Discord. I don't see him, Sam. Do you?
I can give it a look.
Just to double check me, I do not see him. And so let's grab, well, Paul Witt isn't in his usual place either. What about James Hodgson? He finished third. Let's grab him.
Ryan O'Donohue as well.
James Hodgson, you got Mark and Sam in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Evening, gents. How are you?
Well, you're driving well. You are not racing like a muppet this afternoon. You've got you've got it third. You've got O'Donohue and Witt out your windshield. What's the plan to catch them, my man?
Just continue doing what I've been doing, which is the best I've ever run at this track. So I'm just trying to save tires, and with 10 to go, put the hammer down, and just see what we can do. But so far, it's been a really fun race. Really, really enjoying this, and I've never performed well at this circuit. So I'm not sure what I'm doing differently tonight, but I'll keep doing it.
Well, James, have you found a little difference between how the truck's driving now that night is starting to fall and the track temp has dropped? Have you found a little difference in how the truck's driving?
I just completely missed my piss box.
We're sorry.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I think as the sun has gone down and it's starting to get darker, the track's certainly going to get cooler, which should give more grip. But to be honest with you, it's we got a lot of time left, so I think I'm just going to stick to the same plan. Because I think a lot of people out there are putting the gas pedal to the floor as much as possible throughout the entire corner, and it's just not the way to save tires. So I'm going to stick to plan A, I think, tonight.
There you go.
We're certainly sorry if we distracted you for that position, but you're having a great race so far. Enjoy yourself. He's
used to me voicing my displeasure with Volkswagens during endurance races, Sam. So he's well equipped to deal with distractions. We got to ask though, and Sam noticed you got the 88 on the top there facing the front instead of the side. What's the story behind that? Just Andy whip you up something unique?
Well, I did it myself. I probably did it the wrong way around and didn't realize. But hey, you know what? When others zig, you've got to zag. So
it certainly makes a statement.
Yeah,
there you go.
Well, not only that,
it certainly makes a statement. No one else is doing that.
Nobody else is doing that. Not only that, James, but it technically reads correct any way you look at it.
That's exactly right.
So
exactly
any way you look at it, but you got him facing the front instead of the side.
Love the paint. Love the paint.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
It's brilliant. The snake wrapping around the numbers is brilliant. It's just absolutely brilliant. Great job.
It was a good fun thing we did a few weeks ago. We were talking over Discord, and someone said you really should put something together that shows your U.S. citizenship now combined with your Brit past. So we came up with Tread on T.
And the gold flake on the numbers. I'm a big advocate of that. I use that quite often on a lot of my vehicles as well.
Oh, great excellent. Paint. We're in good company. Thank you.
There you go,
yes,
James.
Sir.
We're going to drop you back down into. You want to go with Kendale, or you want to be with Andy and Adam?
I've been with Kendale, so I'll go back there. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you joining us. Sorry about making you miss your pit box. Good luck.
No, all good.
Good luck in the second half. That is third place in the first stage. James Hodgson, he's going to drop back to 10th after blowing through his pit box, and we do feel bad if we contributed to that, although he didn't sound too upset about it. We are 64 laps into a 134 lap event. Do want to thank everybody out there who has tuned this one in. The pace truck is getting ready to duck on off. We're going to go back to green flag racing, and if you like what Ryan O'Donohue is about to do, grab that like button on the video, smash the subscribe, or ring the bell so you can be notified when this happens again. Ryan O'Donohue leads them away. Paul Witt second. Jacob Cannon has made his way to third, Sam.
Well, we both knew. We knew eventually Jacob Cannon is going to put that truck up somewhere in the front. It's just his driving style. It's what he wants to do and where he wants to be. But we've also watched the first half of this race. Paul Witt is another driver who.
Whoa, we got one on the apron, the number 4. Tanner Hacker.
Tanner Hacker. Oh, he comes back across, does he?
He does, and he gets tagged. Looked like the 30. Looked like 32
just
maybe.
That overcorrection.
Yeah, let's see
Oh,
it.
Gregorio Dorso is the one that catches him there as on exit.
Yeah, this
It
starts.
looked like he caught just a little bit, and then the 54.
I thought he had it saved, and then I thought he had it saved right here. I thought we were all going to get away with it, and then Adam O'Brien kind of knocks him back straight a little bit, and then he overcorrects it,
And the
corrects it again.
overcorrection. Yeah.
He's going to get Dorso, and then just absolutely clobbered.
Wow. I really don't think Adam O'Brien touched him.
Ooh,
Looking at that replay.
If he didn't, it was awful close. Let's have
And the reason that's important is but then he wouldn't have to go in for repairs.
No, and here it is. Here it is from the gyro. This is Adam O'Brien, and if he did, it was super light, Sam.
Oh yeah, there's not enough. I don't even know if it would constitute as a Hero X. So close here, so close.
It was indeed. That was the truck numbered 54 was the next one in. That was Michael Kirk, and we're going to show you what Michael Kirk sees here, because this is
Well, I tell you what he sees. He sees a windshield full of Tanner Hacker is what he sees.
Yeah, it's everybody says, "Oh, why don't you slow up? Why don't you slow up?" There's the man spinning on the bottom. O'Brien gets through. Here comes, I mean, there's nothing. There's nowhere to go. Dorso in the wall, and boom, for Michael Kirk. He did get it slowed down significantly, but that's still a really hard lick. Looking at the 54.
Gregorio Dorso, I mean, just squeezed through there. Yeah, he knocked the tires off of the racetrack. He hit him so hard.
Yeah, he did. The front end on
that'll
that
be significant damage for Kirk.
Yeah, it is. You can visually see.
Yeah, the truck is damaged extensively on the front end. He's coming into the pits, so.
Yeah, he looks like he had a meeting with one of those poles that guards the door at Walmart in no pass media.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, or one of the bases for the light poles.
Yeah. Did you ever see the video and they show it pops up on social media every so often of the guy that's in the Walmart parking lot and he's got his truck like stuck on top of one of those poles and he's trying to use the 4-wheel drive to get it off. He finally does. He gets it down and everybody starts clapping and then the airbag comes punching out and knocks his head off.
Deploys on him afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you see is the airbag and the guy's hat get knocked across the parking lot.
Well, if that was the case in this particular instance, then Michael Kirk would probably have an airbag in his face for sure.
Yes, he would. It's a good thing these are virtual. This is virtual, and we can chuckle about it. Ryan O'Donohue leads at 68 of 134, and Sam, you know what that means? We're past halfway, brother. There's 67 to go.
Well, we're in the final stage, and so now with roughly 64 or 66 laps left, or 67 laps, 66 laps.
Now we're gonna get 66 to go with the green flag here.
Right, we will have one more. We will have to have one more stop. The drivers will have to pit around lap 90 in order to be in the window and safely within the window. They'll need to pit around lap 90.
Yeah, so they're going to need to pit with when that counter reaches 44 to go would be the window opening. We're going to put the camera.
They could split this front in half. It just, again, you'll have some early takers that'll come in and want to turn hot laps, but and you'll have others that'll be up front and they'll just, because they may be getting a little pull off of the draft up there.
Andy Dunwoody's
they
not
may stay out for the whole run.
Andy Dunwoody's not waiting for the pull on the draft. He dropped it to the apron, put Liam Anderson 3 wide in the middle with James Hodgson on the top. Dunwoody now to the bottom of Osterman. He is gone from 11th to 7th, and he's going to start working on his buddy Adam O'Brien for 6th here. That 28 truck is on fire now that we've entered this final stage.
Well, there are enough tires in this race for them to make bold choices. It could have very well taken on tires.
Yeah, he could have. It appears as though
Because some of these drivers will have 5 to 10 laps on their tires already.
now I am showing that he stopped 8 laps ago with everybody else. Gregorio
Oh, did he?
Dorso, yeah. So they're all on the same tire strategy.
Well, this is all. Oh, we have another caution.
We have
on
caution.
the
It's Braden Langley, I believe. There's Langley sideways in turn number 3, that is. And let's see what's happened to Braden Langley. In the inside wall. Did he get help from the 67? That is awfully close, Sam.
I'm looking at it right now.
There's daylight between those two trucks.
Oh, no. It really looked like he got tapped. He got a little help there. That's not a natural motion of that truck.
Yeah, just not.
Although I am a little curious as to why Braden was running in the middle of the track and not going up the track.
You know, I am too, and you know, the truck comes sliding sideways. It's not going to slow down with 2 wheels up in the air, and Braden Langley hard into the inside retaining
He may have been
wall.
trying to defend that position. It's hard to say. He may have been trying to protect that position.
Yeah, I mean, hard to tell why. The end result is
right, because the 67 is actually numerous laps down.
Yeah, and I don't. We're gonna file that. We're gonna file that under interesting occurrences, Sam.
Yeah, no, I'm watching the replay as well with you, but I mean, wow. I mean, watching the broadcast, you can see half of the truck is inside of his tailgate.
Yeah, so we'll let the stewards decide that one. We are not the race stewards, and so I don't want to cast aspersions on any competitors. We see the
Agreed.
32. He is 14 laps down, and guess what he gets, Sam? He's going to get the lucky dog. We saw Jason Southern fly by on the outside to get one of his laps back. Ryan O'Donohue is your leader from Paul Witt and Andrew Miller. Jacob Cannon 4th. Adam O'Brien 5th. Kendale Paul is 6th. Andy Dunwoody has decided it's time to wake up to 28. He has moved from running in the mid-20s into 7th. Liam Anderson 8th. Justin Osterman 9th. James Hodgson is 10th. Keith Graham is 11th. Ted Craven in the Teddy Bear is 12th. Chuck Sweeting 13th. Paul French 14th. Gregorio Dorso going to round out your top 15. Collins Pierce. Jeremy Dunwoody, the brother of David Dunwoody, and give a call out to Jeremy. He's been working pretty hard, Sam, on his iRacing. You see him there.
Skill?
Yeah, he's been working pretty hard.
Or excuse me, Racecraft.
Racecraft, yeah. Price charting, Black Magic Studios on that Ford. He's been working pretty hard. I know Andy's going to have him running 12 hours of Sebring with us. But it wasn't too long ago that Jeremy, would run these things just kind of for fun and run around in the back and not really be up front. It is so good to see Jeremy Dunwoody on the lead lap in 18th.
That's a great looking paint scheme, and I'm thrilled. Anytime that I can watch a driver improve on their racecraft and get better at the hobby that they enjoy, it's always encouraging to see that.
It is. I mean, and we all can always get better. Whether you're
absolutely.
Whether you're
100% correct.
Whether you're an old pro like Sam Crow or you're a
just old.
You're a young buck like me with trophies on the wall. We can always all get better. And so
you finally admit it. Admission is the first step to healing.
No, I'm still old and slow, Sam, and you well know it. Pace Truck is getting ready to pull on off. Ryan O'Donohue is going to lead Paul Witt, Andrew Miller, Jacob Cannon, and Adam O'Brien back toward the green flag. We're going to get 60 laps to go here at Las Vegas in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series.
Here, but Paul Witt goes with him this time.
Yeah, he did, and we had Andrew Miller spin the tires.
Christian Light seemed to spin the tires and hold up that bottom line.
Well, that's Andrew Miller in the 40 that did that. Christian Light is actually in the chat.
And so now he's getting a good push. from Adam O'Brien, who started. Oh, we got caution on the field again.
Can't identify who it is here. Do you see it, Sam?
I'm looking.
Is it Langley? Braden Langley is
yes,
sideways.
on the backstretch. Go back to the backstretch again. Langley was going in. It looked like he was going on the inside of Brian Sharp, and then, again, we just don't want to make an assumption, but it's just, for some reason, there was just an odd move by Brian Sharp there.
Yeah, and he's going to get turned. He's going to get turned by the 83 sideways, and there we go. Brian Sharp now 6 laps down in the admin box. W sponsored machine.
It's just an unusual, yeah. It's just an unusual.
It is.
Braden had a huge run. He had a huge run going there. And so, I don't want to make any assumptions.
Yeah, it's just an odd looking incident. And again,
yeah, it's just really strange of what maybe Brian
was doing. Yeah,
Sharp was doing in this particular instant. At the last second, he moves left, and then of course causes this contact. So again, we don't know what's going on with Brian Sharp. I do know that Langley had a huge run coming around turns 1 and 2 and down the backstretch.
Yeah, and we're gonna let's watch this again. Get on board Brian Sharp. This is from his left rear, and you see, I mean, we're the camera shot is inside Braden Langley's hood. Let's try one more, Sam. Let's get in the cockpit of Braden Langley.
Let's get it. Yeah, let's get into the engine compartment.
Oh my goodness! Let's get in the cockpit of Braden Langley here. You see, he's following along. Brian Sharp. And
I did notice that Braden Langley was in the chat and saying some things, but I didn't hear exactly what he was saying.
Yeah, there's Langley.
Well, either way, Mark, you got to play the song.
I do, and unfortunately for Brian Sharp, there he is. There's the wall, and Brian.
Watch out for that tree. George.
Unfortunately for Brian Sharp, he is going to be an early pedestrian here at Las Vegas. Car on pit road. We're going to go back to the front because we're getting ready to go back to green. Ryan O'Donoghue is your leader, and that is another. He's got another good-looking automobile, Heat Wave, with the "Welcome to Las Vegas" sign on the front of that truck. Simply blue pools for Paul Witt. Those are some pretty doggone good looking.
Yeah, no, the liveries each week. The liveries have been getting better by the week. It's really been being a painter myself. I really enjoy seeing the great paint schemes that are going on in the series.
Being sponsored by a painter, I enjoy seeing them too. And it goes to show the health of the series. You've got Archway Industrial Coatings on the side, Andrew Miller admin box for Adam O'Brien.
Yeah, great paint scheme there.
Yeah. There's Andy Dunwoody. If he had any more sponsors, he'd forget them all. But there they are, going down through here, getting ready to come back to the green flag. Ryan O'Donoghue is going to try to get this thing going. 57 laps to go here in the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series race. Green flag is out. Ryan O'Donoghue escapes.
Well, he's had no problem getting a big jump in the Geico restart zone, and so it certainly leaves those behind him trying to play catch-up in the first lap. But he's not going to go far by himself, and these trucks have proved that they can close this gap early, very quickly.
They do. They suck up really, really, really close behind each other, pretty quickly. The thing of it is, I always wonder, is that big jump, one, is it helpful? Because I'm used to cars where you get a big jump like that at a drafting track, you're going to get past like you're tied to a post about a lap and a half later. And here we
Yes,
go.
sir.
Jacob Cannon's coming to the inside of the leader, Ryan O'Donohue. Cannon hunting the lead here.
And Christian Light has decided that he's going to go to the bottom and make it 3 wide as we go into turn 3. There you go. These drivers are all of them are holding their line. Christian Light with a little bit of an advantage coming to the start-finish line. That's exciting when they get that way, but boy, it's precarious to say the least.
Yeah, one missed move there, and you're gonna have the four trucks that have dominated this race on the hauler. And so what talent that takes to do that is fun to watch. Now you've got Miller. He's going to move to the bottom of Cannon. They are 2x2, just like the start of this race. Meanwhile, you see the two trucks to the right of your screen. That's Kendall Paul, Andy Dunwoody, and they are going to be.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier that I was curious about the damage that Kendall Paul may have sustained when he hit the wall so hard and he kind of backed up into the 6th through 8th positions. But it looks like he may have gotten that repaired, and he's back up pushing for a position up here in the front top 5.
Well, the point that I was going to make was that if you look to the top there, Paul Dunwoody, Adam O'Brien, and Justin Osterman, those are all Black Magic Dark Horse Performance. Those are all affiliated trucks. They've got James Hodgson up there. He has scored 10th, but my goodness, you could throw a blanket over the top 10 at this point. All of those drivers in those trucks, they're all affiliated. Colby Pierce has moved into that battle as well. So those drivers from Kendall Paul back to Colby Pierce in 11th, the only driver that is not a part of that team is Liam Anderson in the 18, and he's doing a great job in his automobile.
Patriotic scheme on that truck tonight.
That patriotic scheme. We'll get another look at it for Krause Auto Body in his truck, but. We're seeing it. The teammates Osterman.
Jacob Cannon keeping it way low off of turn 2.
They're going to go 3 wide here down the back. Osterman's going to, no, he's not. He thinks better of it. Justin Osterman is in these races that we've watched. He has had no problem taking it 3 wide, has he, Sam?
Oh, he's been a daredevil for sure. He's not. He's writing checks. Maybe that truck might not be able to cash, but we found out that the driver's not afraid to write the check. So. He's been exciting to watch, that's for sure.
He most certainly has. Watching this battle, this is right around 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Liam Anderson is in the middle of a hornet's nest between Black Magic Studios and Dark Horse Performance. Those trucks all around him.
Run. Adam O'Brien gets there on the bottom.
Yes, sir. He's going to try to bring his machine. He's up there in the 6th. He's looking for 5th. On Kendall Paul, but he's got the boss man, Andy Dunwoody, to his top side. Meanwhile, Paul Witt's going to throw it 3 wide on the top for the lead.
He gave him a big push going into 1, which kind of took Christian Light out of the line that he's been running. And, of course, that opens up the bottom for Jacob Cannon, who loves riding down there on the white line and done a great job tonight doing so. But Paul Witt has decided he's going to take Christian Light to task. And he wants to get that 29 truck back out into the front.
Yes, he has, and that's standard operating procedure for Paul Witt. Same for Jacob Cannon. They want to be up with their trucks in the win. Same for Andrew Miller. He's been one of those guys that 100% wants to be out here in the lead. And we're joined by a celebrity guest in the chat. There, Sam. None other than the Clindy, Kyle Clinworth. Is said who's going to roll boxcars?
That's the only thing we haven't seen tonight is someone rolling. We've seen a lot of action, but no trucks rolling.
Three wide in the second row. Cannon shoots through the middle. My goodness. Paul Witt down to the bottom of Miller one more time.
This pack is a little substantially bigger than it has been in the other stages. I think these drivers are now getting to the place where they want to stay close to the leaders. And we're going to be running into this window where trucks can make it to the end of the race. From lap 90, they should be able to make it to the end on fuel.
Yeah, according to our calculations here, Sam, the window is going to open in a lap.
Yes, sir.
It's going to open in a lap. So anytime these guys want to pit from here to the end, they are free to do so. They can make it on fuel. So you're right. You want to get up to the front for that.
Oh, Jacob Cannon with a big run into the back of Christian Light as they come on the high side off of 4. it's risky up there because the truck wants to push. It can take you to the wall quickly.
Yeah, it does. You know, and the other thing is, you know, it's not like Daytona, Talladega, where you know you can do that and it's flat. The tri-oval here has a lot of banking. The D-shaped oval, a lot more than even Talladega, Daytona, and so you can turn somebody loose. You know, you give them a shot in the wrong spot.
Oh yeah, you can destabilize the truck incredibly quickly. I have noticed that the way that some of these drivers have pushed tonight, like Witt or Cannon, that they're waiting for that big push on entry just so that they can maybe upset the truck in front of them just enough that they can get it down to the bottom. But Christian Light's done a great job showing that he can run the top and the bottom lines. But Rhino Donahue, who is extremely fast here, and now Kendall Paul said that they want to be a part of this. The racing's getting very good up front here.
Yeah, it almost looks like the start of this race 3 rows deep, and just to make sure, it might be wrong or somehow there's a bug. It's Andrew Miller in the 40. Christian Light only runs the Xfinity car, so that's Andrew Miller in the identically painted Archway Industrial.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
My sincere apologies for that.
No, that's okay, Sam. I didn't know sometimes.
No, it was a complete mistake on my scoring sheet here. I had it down wrong. So, Andrew Miller, I give you my sincere apologies.
No need to apologize, Sam. You're a pro. It happens. Meanwhile, 3 wide again for second. These guys, you know, as the saying goes, as the pay window starts to open, things start to get pretty tight, and the pay window is starting to open here, Sam.
It's going to be interesting to see who's going to bite first.
You know, and that could be the race winning move. That could be the race. I think
you need someone to pit with you. I think you do. If you try to pit, even with fresh tires, if you try to pit and you're by yourself, you're just not going to be turning the same lap time.
Well, and I'll tell you what. You know, speaking of lap times, the fastest lap for Andrew Miller, Kendall Paul, Ryan O'Donoghue up at the front, 30.361. That's their best lap. They are 1.4 seconds off of that now. Here with 41 to go, coming to get 40 to go. So whomever pits first might come out of this battle smelling like a rose if they can get through a full cycle. But that's the gamble, isn't it? You go a lap down, and do you trust 32 of these trucks to get to pit road without having a caution?
Well, you were talking about earlier how in the top 10 there were so many teammates with Black Magic, and you know, they could very well be working a strategy that they could all work together and pit together. Then you have drivers like Liam Anderson or Andrew Miller. I'm not sure if Andrew's part of that team or not, but you'll have drivers like that may be independent or by themselves or with their teammates that are out, and then they're subject just to pit with those other drivers. But I think staying with others is going to be beneficial, and I really think a lot of these guys may even go to the point where there'll be 20 to go if they can make the fuel last that long.
You
But I
can.
think pitting early here will be a disadvantage. I really do think it'll be a disadvantage because you'll lose so much time as they come out with hot tires in the last 20 laps.
You know, there could be, and it did want to focus back on this second, you know, this kind of the second group. You mentioned fuel. The more fuel you can save, the better off you're going to, you know, the better off you're going to be, because that makes that last pit stop shorter. That also means it's less fuel you got to take, and it adjusts the truck. These are fixed setups, and so one of the only things that you can do if you do not like the handling is going to be the amount of fuel. Less fuel means less weight. It's going to make that rear spoiler stand up a little bit taller. So if you're loose, tell you what, Sam, you take a few gallons. You don't have to take as much fuel. That's going to help you out a little bit.
This is true. I do have a question though, since you do such a great job with the pit stops. Did anyone pit on the last stop? I mean, on the last caution?
We did, but that was well.
I mean, for tires and fuel.
So Tanner Hacker and Jeremy Dunwoody came down pit road. Dunwoody would have been fuel only. Tanner Hacker may have taken 2 tires. But that's 16th and 17th, and we'll go ahead and put Tanner Hacker up there. He's
just wondering. Oh, it's really pushing it. It would be really pushing it.
But then again, let's
If
put
they top off and if they can save, even if you lose the draft here,
well,
it could play out.
let's see.
It might be worth the gamble. It is Las Vegas,
Or
so why
could
not just try it?
Or could you run a gas and go maybe, or just get.
Well, the longer these trucks stay out, you may find that's exactly what they're going to do. If a caution comes out, I think you're going to see people come and fuel and take tires. But if it stays green, you could very well just see gas and goes.
Let's see from the cockpit of Tanner Hacker. Is he saving? It doesn't sound like he's shutting it off, and it doesn't sound like he's letting it go much below about 6,400, Sam. I don't know that he's trying to stretch it, but he's got a 10-lap advantage, and that could be big just to have that 10-lap advantage.
On entry, yeah, he's dropping it down on entry. He's not in the throttle near as much through the corners.
Well, but what I'm saying is that 10-lap advantage.
Wait a minute. Now, I just did hear him in chat. I did hear him in game chat that he just made a comment about pit stops.
Yeah, so. But
it's interesting to see how it's going to play out.
Yeah, so he's got a 10-lap advantage. So he's going to have about 10 laps where he's going to have the entire field trapped a lap down. Is what I'm getting at.
I agree. Yeah.
If he runs the whole thing now, there's no way he's going to be able to make it. He's going to be out 30 laps now. I don't think there's any serviceable way to do 63 on a tank, but
no, there's no way.
But he's going to have a big advantage here for just a little while. Kendall Paul.
In the event that there may be a caution, yes.
Yeah, Kendall Paul is your leader in the 78, and so we're going to kind of show some of these trucks. Kendall Paul is your leader in the 78. Storm Tracker 78 Archway industrial coatings on that machine. Admin box on the hood and the quarter panels for Adam O'Brien. He is going to be second.
Ryan Craven catches the wall out of 2.
Yep, Ryan O'Donohue. In the Heatwave machine, he is third. Justin Osterman, the multicolored Black Magic truck, he is fourth. Andrew Miller, he's going to round out your top 5 for Archway Industrial Coatings. Good-looking yellow machine. Jacob Cannon in sixth, the familiar Mobile One colors on his Toyota. There's David Dunwoody. He is going to run seventh in the Black Magic Studios Storm Tracker 78 machine. Right behind him, longtime compatriot Colby Pierce for No Pass Media. James Hodgson is going to be 8th. We've talked to James. Don't tread on T in the forward-facing 88 on the roof. And Paul Witt, he is going to come to pit lane.
Paul Witt just announced his pit.
Yeah, we were just talking about him. Simply Blue Pools. He's bringing her to pit road. Paul Witt in the 29.
And just with about 20 laps to go was where I thought that they might push these pit stops to.
Well, so Witt's going to start with 30 to go, but the window is open. Chuck Sweeting.
I'm sorry, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting in the 75. There's Premier Setups for Ted Craven. He is 11th. Gregorio Dorso for Roy.
No one's going to let him get an advantage, so you have a lot of trucks.
Well, and we just
Miller, did he make the commitment cone? I don't know if he made the commitment cone.
I don't know, but we've got a truck spinning and sideways on the pit road.
Ted Craven did not make it. Ted Craven missed it.
Well, we were watching. I was looking at Gregorio Dorso, and he had a truck all over the rear of all over his rear quarter panel. And let's have a look and see what we can see here, because this is kind of where all this starts. Gregorio Dorso, and that's Liam Anderson behind him, and Anderson hard on the binders in that Krause Auto Body machine. He gets it into the back of Dorso, and those two have all kinds of trouble getting on the pit road. You see Gregorio Dorso there. He's having a hard time getting under control. And the teddy bear, Ted Craven,
I don't think he made the commitment cone at all.
Yeah, he phased through it. It didn't hit it, but that's awfully close. We'll go back to live action. All of these trucks have exited the pit lane, still to stop. O'Donohue, your leader, then Sweeting, Graham, Jeremy Dunwoody, and Tanner Hacker. And here's the two trucks that we are interested in, and that's 100% correct out of Mike Rigney. If Hacker can catch that long caution, he's going to be sitting pretty. Watching Jeremy Dunwoody, he has made it past Tanner Hacker, and there you see the tail of the tape. O'Donohue, Sweeting, and Graham, they are at the end of their runs. They're at 45 laps. Hacker and Jeremy Dunwoody, they've got another 10 they can go.
It certainly is going to put a twist on the finish of this race if they were to catch a caution. However, with the field as spread out as it is, the percentages of that happening become very much smaller. But you do have some close racing going on the field, so it certainly is always a possibility.
You do. Now here's the issue with doing what they're doing. Last time by for Jeremy Dunwoody, 32.105, 32.303 for Tanner Hacker. Kendall Paul on those fresh tires, he is 7th. He is a lap down, but as you see it, he's on the fresh tires. Chuck Sweeting has just called it. He's going to go to pit road. But Kendall Paul now 6th, 35.99. So he is a second and a half quicker than O'Donohue, Graham, Dunwoody. And there's the yellow Brian Sharp around.
Oh, we've got the caution.
Brian Sharp around.
Are you kidding me?
Brian Sharp around hard on the back. What has happened to Brian Sharp? He's running along with Tanner Hacker there.
He's on the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, that's Adam O'Brien. O'Brien is extremely quick on the top. Of course, Adam O'Brien does have the fresh tires. O'Brien gets 3 for the price of 1.
And he just kind of washes up the racetrack a little bit and gets tagged in the right rear.
Yeah, with a 40.
It was so close. I bet that's a bang bang thing where he hears your spotter say clear, and then immediately Jalen Story feels the spot, and then he's there.
You know,
I'm sure it's bang bang.
It is, and unfortunately for Brian Sharp.
Watch out for that tree. George.
Oh, can you believe that caution came out?
You know, I guarantee you, one guy can. That's Mike Rigney in the thing. And this is the most welcome sight that Ryan O'Donohue,
oh yes,
Tanner Hacker, these guys can see. They're going to come down pit road on their own lap. O'Donohue, Hacker, Keith Graham, Jeremy Dunwoody. They are the beneficiaries of this caution.
And what you'll see now is the trucks that are out here that have run the maybe three or 4 laps on their fresh tires, they will get the wave around, but they do have three lap older tires.
Yeah, and with 20 to go, that's a huge thing because even though they're only lightly scuffed, Sam. Even though they're only lightly scuffed, and there's Kendall Paul. He is going to be 6th. Mark Cofield is scored in 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Cofield also benefits. He's on pit road now. All of these trucks that you see here.
Can you imagine being in the seat with drivers like O'Donohue, Graham, Hacker, Dunwoody, and Cofield, and they're just kind of wiggling. And they were gripping the steering wheel just a little tighter, saying, "Finally, I catch a break. I caught a break." Yeah, and they gambled. Well, you know, for Hacker and Jeremy Dunwoody, they gambled and it you know, they gambled. They put it all on black, and it hit. Or in this case, yellow.
Yeah.
All right, man. Light you back on the pace.
So here comes the wave round. Kendall Paul is going to extend the yellow. Just because you're going to have a bunch of trucks, and we're watching
most
them.
of the running field.
Yeah, we're watching them stream by. There's how many people need to go past the pace car. We're looking at Ryan O'Donohue, and every truck in front of him has got to go by the pace truck, so that they can catch the rear of the field. So, good move from Kendall Paul to extend the caution by a lap.
It just allows the field to it's not so spread out on the restart.
Well, if you
gives everyone a chance to kind of reset and get ready.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, we're going into turn 3 here on the back of the pace truck. The first cars that were waved around, the first trucks that were waved around, have not yet caught. They have not yet caught the rear of the field. And we've still got trucks that are going down that are going into turn one with that wave around. So
Yes, sir.
you know, good move from the series directors here, just to give it one lap to get everybody to get formed up. Pit road would remain closed. Nobody's going to be able to come to pit road here, but they do want to get them so they can. They do want to get them so they can.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, because they are waiver rounds, all of those waiver rounds will be in a single file.
They should be. You're right. So
Yes.
and they are forming.
So they will not be 2x2.
No. So
they will
are
be in a single file from sixth position on back.
They are forming up that way. So,
yes.
So
and so that makes it equally as hard to try and make up positions quickly, especially if you're at the tail end of this lead lap contingency.
Well, and here's another thing. If you're a lap down, you do not have to yield to the wave around car. So you've got Braden Langley, who has been involved in significant contact.
That can be nestled in there. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Well, he's right in front of Kendall Paul. He's not nestled. He is in the battle. And so, you know, that's what it looks like, a stream of single file machines behind the first, oh golly, you've got what, 3 rows up there? And then the lap truck of Langley, and then
John Hutchins. John Hutchins is also another lap truck that's there.
Yeah, the 72. He's up there too. And nothing wrong with those guys being there. That's the position that they're in.
Well, that's how they're lined up.
Yeah, that's how they're lined
Michael
up.
Kirk, of course, is the lap car as well.
Is indeed. This is going to get fun, Sam.
Oh, this is going to get furious. It's going to get furious at this particular point.
It is. They're going to
those top 6 trucks do have fresh tires.
They reasonably fresh. They do.
Yeah,
they do
within
have
three laps.
They do have. It's a
little bit of contact with Braden, Kendall Paul and Braden Langley back there.
Yep. Now Langley's going to keep it high. He's going to let the leaders get
O'Donoghue
through here.
decided to kick in the retro rockets on that restart.
Well, and keep in mind too, Sam. Keep in mind too that there are some trucks up here. Tanner Hacker, Jeremy Dunwoody, and so on.
All right, man.
Caution is out. We've got a huge wreck. Justin Osterman involved. You've got James Hodgson. He's in the wall. Big accident coming back down the front straightaway here. And let's see what has happened to these automobiles. Oh my goodness gracious. So Osterman is inside of the 83 of Braden Langley here.
Osterman had a huge run. For some reason, the 44 had slowed down. His speed was so much slower than Osterman.
Yeah,
I don't know if maybe he got loose on the inside of Paul Witt, or if he was just allowing Paul Witt, just giving him courtesy to get on by.
I think Jalen Story in the Liam Anderson Motorsports truck. He was, you could see the hands fighting.
I mean, he's 7 miles an hour slower than Justin Osterman at that particular point.
Yeah, and they come together, and it's unfortunate. It's a huge impact for Osterman. Then Langley loses it down low. He's going to collect the 88 of James Hodgson. Big lick for Hodgson, trying to avoid it low.
Wow, those trucks hit that outside wall incredibly hard.
Yes, they did, and they're still hitting it hard as they go through here. Let's go back and take a look at now. Gregorio Dorso gets hit as Hodgson has no control at that point. The front on that truck is destroyed.
Yeah.
Watch James Hodgson. My goodness. Watch how hard he hits here. And this is slow motion.
Oh, he's had such a good night going on too.
He has, and just nowhere to go. He's in the grass. Big impact, and now he's ripped the right front off. There's no control in that truck. It's a tripod in the grass. He's going to come back up here, and he's just going to get clobbered by Gregorio Dorso. He's going to get, bam!
Wow.
2 hits for the price of 1 for poor James
And those
Hodgson.
damages can be so significant.
Yeah.
Because the new damage model for the trucks, it seems exorbitant, in my opinion. It really does. It's easy to get wheel damage, engine damage. It can be catastrophic and it can get there quickly.
Yeah, and that's the fine line you run with a simulator. I can remember in the open wheel stuff, you used to be able to hit stuff hard in the open wheel cars, and it wouldn't hurt them. And now, you get within a breath of the fence, and you're done. So I know iRacing goes to great lengths to make these things realistic. Sometimes maybe they make it too realistic, and I don't mean that in the sense that it shouldn't be realistic, but because certainly a hit like we saw James Hodgson take, or Jalen Story, or Justin Osterman, that's going to be night ending for anyone. But
Yes, sir.
sometimes a light touch doesn't have to be the end of the night either. Does that make sense? So it's something.
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so that's something that's always going to be evolving. 17 laps to go here. Ryan O'Donohue, the leader. Tanner Hacker and Jeremy Dunwoody, they're holding tough. Keith Graham and Kendall Paul will round out your top 5. Adam O'Brien, Andrew Miller, Paul Witt, Jacob Cannon, Chuck Sweeting are 6 through 10. Colby Pierce is 11th. Andrew Collins 12th. Liam Anderson 13th. Mark Cofield 14th. Paul French 15th. David Dunwoody, Gregorio Dorso are going to round out your lead lap cars. Osterman 1 lap down. Hodgson 1 lap down. Craven, Kirk 2 laps in arrears. Braden Langley 3 down. Jalen Story 6. John Hutchins is 9. Ewell 13. Sharp 16. Southern 59 laps down. Those are the cars that remain in the race. And we are headed back for green flag action. We're going to get 16 to go. Ryan O'Donohue.
Again, O'Donohue gets another big jump.
Yes, he did. I'm interested to see how long.
Kendall Paul really sticks it in there on the inside of Jeremy Dunwoody.
Yes, he did. I'm going to be interested to see how long Jeremy Dunwoody and Tanner Hacker can hold it up here. Tanner Hacker goes to the bottom of the block. Kendall Paul. Kendall Paul just slides it right to the outside, and he's going to get to the right rear quarter of the number 4 as Ryan O'Donohue reaches out and races away from the front of this field. Kendall Paul going to have to go the long way around, and Tanner Hacker does have the advantage. He's got 6 laps, newer tires, and here comes Andrew Miller. He's going to go to the inside of Kendall Paul. Let's put Andrew Miller up to 3rd, Kendall Paul back to 4th. Jeremy Dunwoody is hanging tough in 5th, but he's got Jacob Cannon to look into his outside, trying to take that away from him as well. Tanner Hacker going for the lead.
Oh, he sure is, and he's really pushing that truck on the outside of Hacker. As they come to the start-finish line, he'll be ahead by a nose.
Yeah, Tanner Hacker's got some fresh tires. He just ran the fastest lap. Give Tanner Hacker for Mr. Feelgoods. He's going to go to the front of this train. He passes Ryan O'Donohue. He's going to go to the lead, and he's got some help from Andrew Miller.
Got a little bit of help from Andrew Miller. But Miller says, "I'm not here just to help. I'm here to win."
He tried to make that move to the inside, and he thought better of it. He backed out of that. There wasn't
ran out of real estate.
Yeah,
he sure did. He ran out of real estate.
Wasn't quite enough room. But Andrew Miller or Tanner Hacker rather, he's got the nose in the wind. That is an unsponsored number 4, and it doesn't matter. The decals might weigh him down here. Here he comes. Andrew Miller wants to make that move to the inside.
Hanging in there with those with the fresher tires as well. He's doing a great job of holding that line on the bottom on the inside of Chuck Sweeting. Chuck Sweeting was in one of our incidences earlier in one of our cautions, and he's had a strong comeback for his race as well, as he's in 7th position.
He is indeed. I gotta wonder. Andrew Miller wants to send that thing hard down the inside, down the back.
But you wonder how much he's using up to do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Kendall Paul is going to swing it to the outside. He's going to have Jacob Cannon in his rear bumper. They're going to try to work it to the front. Meanwhile, Ryan O'Donohue is sizing up. Tanner Hacker. We'll get on board. We'll get the telemetry going. Right, we got yellow.
Oh, we got a caution on the field again.
That is Liam Anderson, slow in the Krause Auto Body machine. And let's go back and find out what we've got here from Liam Anderson.
We're getting into the wall. He was racing hard with.
Well, it looks like Mark Cofield.
Yeah. And then coming off the corner.
He's going to get sideways.
I don't know. Maybe Liam got a little loose there.
Yeah, he's going to get.
Maybe he expected. Mark Cofield to be lower on the racetrack, which is always a possibility.
There's your rollover, Sam.
Well, we were expecting one at some point in some time.
Mm.
Because there's no question Mark Cofield went for a ride.
Yes, he did. Let's look at this. We're going to get an
But still
interesting.
under power though.
Yeah, well, a lot of times, and that's kind of a thing with the damage model. A lot of times, if you get upside down, it actually doesn't hurt things too badly. Believe it or not, you wouldn't think so, but for whatever reason, if you flip one over, it doesn't seem to hurt the truck. Watch this from the flag stand. So this is what Barney's going to see. You see our flagman Barney, upside down truck across the finish line. Stroker Race couldn't have done that any better, Sam.
And this is definitely one of those instances where maybe Liam thought that Mark Cofield may be going down the track a little bit more toward the white line, and his anticipation was a little less than his expectation. So
there you go. And now you're looking at the Krause Auto Body machine of Liam Anderson. It is parked on pit road. Heavy damage to the 18. I'm assuming Billy Elwell's wife Carrie has checked in.
well,
and said, well, there
Carrie,
we go.
thank you so much. Those are things that we appreciate. We want to make sure that we're giving the drivers the proper credit that they deserve. So we appreciate the input in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah, most certainly do thank her for that. Looking off the back of the pace truck, looking at the nose of Tanner Hacker. He hasn't been up there much tonight, Sam, but the man in the infield starting to open up the window with the money, and he showed up at the front.
Do you mean that there may be some woman in the infield warming up her vocal pipes?
I hope not, and I hope not. And if there is, I certainly hope that she sings better than Kyle Clinworth. I have been subjected to Clindy's singing in the booth, and it is.
Oh, have you?
It is interesting. I offered him a suitcase, briefcase, and a bucket to carry that tune in, and none of those items were accepted. The 14 did stop, so we've got some split strategies, and Sam, it's worth showing. It's worth showing those. So at the front, Tanner Hacker, he's got 14 laps on his tires. Andrew Miller has 21. So 15 now for Hacker. 21 for Miller. Jeremy Dunwoody is on the same strategy as Hacker. Chuck Sweeting has 18 laps on his tires. O'Brien and Pierce are even in 5th and 6th. Andy Dunwoody, David Dunwoody, is 7th. He's got 10 laps on his. So he's got considerably fresh.
Actually, Kendall Paul and Jacob Cannon, Paul Witt, all of them pitted for tires.
Yeah, so that's what I'm about to drive at. Keith Graham and Andrew Collins are on 15 and 21 laps respectively, and everybody else on the lead lap from 10th on back, they've got some fresh tires, Sam.
Oh, don't you leave the broadcast quite yet, because it's going to get very exciting in these last few laps. You're going to have some very fast trucks wanting to make their way up to the front, and not only are they going to want to be passing the trucks with a few lap older tires, but they're wanting to beat the other trucks that pitted for fresh rubber as well. So it's going to get very interesting, and we're going to wonder who actually put extra fuel in the tank for a green-white checker if it comes to that.
Yeah. 100%. Here they come. We're going to get up in the flag stand with Barney because we're going to have a green flag restart. 8 laps to go. Coming to get 7 to go. Green flag is out here at Las Vegas. Racing resumes. Braden Langley coming off a pit road. That will not affect the start. And this is about to get fun, Sam.
Oh, no question. Ryan O'Donoghue is already making moves on the back stretch. He's going to be trying to push Colby Pierce into 3.
You know, I don't necessarily know
Jacob Cannon gets a big run through the middle, making it 3 wide coming off of 4. He really has got the most momentum right now of those with fresh tires as he follows Ryan O'Donoghue. Oh, it's going to be good to see where this is going to end up coming in the last 5 laps.
It is, and if you're riding on board with the 28, David Dunwoody has a run, but he doesn't have anywhere to go, and he is on, remember, Sam, significantly fresher tires then the truck's in front of him. He's going to make it 3
And now
wide.
he's
Here we
pushing
go.
it 3 wide as well. Now it's Ryan O'Donohue who doesn't have anywhere to go, and Jacob Cannon gets on the outside of Donahue, and O'Donohue is going to follow. Nope, he's going to fall in line here.
Whoa, we're going to have contact hard up
Somebody
into the
gets into
outside
Sweeting.
wall.
He saves it. He keeps it straight. No caution. No caution.
No caution. We race on. 5 laps to go. Sweeney's going to get it to the bottom. He's going to go to the apron. Dunwoody and Adam O'Brien are going to battle for a second. Here comes Cannon up the middle.
He's going to follow Dunwoody. Oh, he gets extremely close.
Whoa,
Makes
they're
contact
wrecking.
with
Now we're
O'Brien,
wrecking.
and they wreck on the front stretch.
Caution is out.
Just Adam O'Brien and Tanner. Whoa, we're still not done up here. Tanner Hacker went through the grass and we're still wrecking.
Oh, they're still wrecking going into 1. They're still wrecking.
Hard contact. Kendall Paul, Colby Pierce, Andrew Miller involved. So we're going to have several different incidents to look at.
Wow. I think Andrew Miller really checked up and a lot to wait for the pace truck, and the field was barreling down on him.
Mercy me. So this is going to...
Then it was just a chain reaction after that.
Yeah, this is going to start with Cannon and Adam O'Brien. They're 3 wide in a space meant for about a truck and a half. Dunwoody gets David Dunwoody gets away with it. I keep wanting to call him Andy. David Dunwoody gets away with it. He's going to go up toward the lead. Cannon and O'Brien spin, and now
Cannon had a small spot that he thought that he could fit that truck in.
He did, and now
Yeah, but O'Brien was down there.
He did. At the same time, Tanner Hacker slows. Dunwoody boots him through the grass. He saves it down
Tanner
here.
Hacker, and he was actually yelling in chat, I saved it.
He did, but then Andrew Miller slows down, and he just gets absolutely clouded by Colby Pierce. That's going to take out Kendall Paul, who's involved in that mess. Jeremy Dunwoody.
Yeah, a front end damage on the 78. Several trucks getting front end damage into that particular incident. It could have very well been one of those incidences where the accident and the caution happens before the start finish line, and the pace truck is already getting the call to come onto the track. And so by the time they get to 1, they're already trying, Andrew Miller may have thought to slow down, but the field behind him did not have that same inclination, and then just a big pile up behind him.
Yeah, well, you're right. So we're going to get green-white checker here. Watching on board Kendall Paul. Absolutely nowhere to go as Colby Pierce gets in the back of Andrew Miller. But you're right, Sam. The call from iRacing is slow down for the pace car. So Tanner Hacker does that. And there you see it, right? There you see the pace truck. More experienced drivers will know, hey, it's okay to pass the pace truck and then, slow down.
And then let it catch up, yeah.
Yeah, just go to the backstretch and either slow down or stop and wait and tell everybody what you're doing, rather than everybody check up all in that one spot to wait for the pace truck, because that got everybody else behind checked up, because iRacing is telling you that you need to stay behind the truck in front and so forth. But we don't have time to sort out all that, because Tanner Hacker and David Dunwoody, they're going to be on row 1. Andrew Miller and Ryan O'Donohue have gone to row 2. And the crazy thing is because that all happened under caution.
Yeah. Yep. Now there's some names up here that we haven't said a lot about tonight, but they've been consistently just trying to sneak into the top 10 and run top 10. Colby Pierce is here. Keith Graham has kept that truck as clean as he possibly could, and so we do want to give a shout out to those drivers as they've made their way up here and raced themselves into a good finish. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is all going to play out in the closing laps, because you still have O'Donohue, who actually has the freshest tires up there.
You do, and remember Dunwoody's got a lot fresher tires than Hacker and Andrew Miller.
Hacker, yeah, and Miller, yeah.
So we're going to get ready to go. We're going to get the green-white checker. 3 to go.
A little wheel spin there, but Hacker gets a good jump. Miller follows him through. I don't think O'Donohue got the start that he wanted, but he's going to fall in line behind O'Brien as we go into turn 1.
Yeah, that's the benefit of being on the inside instead of the outside. The outside got jammed up because you've got to wait for Tanner Hacker.
Dunwoody has no help out there. None.
No, he doesn't. Adam O'Brien's going to go for third. Now he's going to go for second. We've got Andrew Miller blocking Ryan Donahue down to the apron.
Definitely a protection. Oh, they're wrecking behind again. They're in the wall, but they keep the truck straight.
Here we come back.
Andrew Miller got into the curb, so he lost all his momentum.
We get to the white flag. The next flag ends the race, and we have it. Adam O'Brien is all over Tanner Hacker for the win. Andy Dunwoody is going to drop his 28 truck to the bottom of Adam O'Brien as they come off of turn 2. Tanner Hacker in the lead. He's got 2 Black Magic trucks behind him. Make that 3 trucks in it for the win. Here comes O'Donohue. He's going to come to the inside of O'Brien.
This is going to get interesting because O'Donohue does have those fresh tires. Can he get a run on Hacker as they come to the start-finish line? He's going to run out of time. Tanner Hacker is going to win.
Tanner Hacker is going to win the race. Ryan O'Donohue is going to be second. David Dunwoody, and they crash coming across the finish line. David Dunwoody is going to be third. Paul Witt is going to come home fourth. Adam O'Brien is fifth. And Mr. Rigney, yes, indeed, sir, it was nuts. He always is able to call it, isn't he? Oh, my goodness. Sam,
there's some hot drivers. I'm listening to the in-race chat, and there's some unhappy truck drivers in the chat tonight. And so Kendall Paul is trying to bring reason to the drivers that are having some disputes. And so it's tough to run these races and put so much energy and thought and time into it, and then feel like you've come up short. And so a lot of emotion right now, a whole lot of emotion.
And it's always that way when you run any of these things. The adrenaline sometimes can get the best of you, and it's no different in the sim than it is in real life. Tanner Hacker, he's going to be your winner. Ryan O'Donohue is going to come home second. David Dunwoody is going to round out your podium. Paul Witt and Adam O'Brien, the remainder of the top 5. Keith Graham, what a run for him.
I agree. He gets my shout out tonight. Just the quiet storm. He worked his way up there and had a great finish tonight. Well done, Keith.
He did indeed. Jacob Cannon brings it home 7th. Andrew Collins is 8th. Andrew Miller 9th. And Paul French will round out your top 10. In 11th, Michael Kirk. Gregorio Dorso brings it home 12th. Kendall Paul 13th. Colby Pierce 14th. And Jeremy Dunwoody is going to be 15th. Ted Craven, Chuck Sweeting, James Hodgson, John Hutchins, and Braden Langley will be 16th through 20th. 21st, Mark Cofield. Liam Anderson, 22nd. Billy Elwell, he'll have it 23rd. Justin Osterman, 24th. Jalen Story rounds out the top 25. Brian Sharp, sadly, did not avoid the trees. He brings it back 26th. Jason Southern, 27th. John Guerrero, 28th. Marlon Alvarez, 29th. Donald Green, 30th. Last 2 drivers on the field, Mike George, Ken Holland, 31st and 32nd. Sam.
Well, the AMA's proved once again that they're going to put on a show. If you show up here to watch these broadcasts, you're going to see everything. You're going to see strategies playing out. You're going to see door handle to door handle racing. You're going to see tire wear wars. You're going to see a lot of emotion. There's just nothing you're going to miss when you come into an AMA race.
No, you're not going to miss anything at all. Looking for the replay interviews.
Don't you? Well, I'm going to save that comment for Ryan O'Donohue when he gets in here. I'm gonna save that comment. I hope you don't rob me of it, but we're going to wait until Ryan gets into the booth. But we couldn't find him earlier, could we?
We could not. Now, sometimes the drivers do
They'll come
show
in
up
after the event.
Yeah, they're going to come in after the event. So
yeah,
we've got
I see him. He's in the waiting room. He's in the waiting room.
We have a busy waiting room. We're gonna.
I told you there was a lot of emotion at the end of that race. There was a lot of people.
Maybe we should
some sentiment.
Maybe we should leave him in the waiting room. Come to think of it,
no, bring him up. I think it's going to make great.
Actually, take it back. We'll put ourselves in the waiting room and we'll just mute and let them talk it out.
Yeah, let's just let them. Let's just entertain everyone with what they have to say.
Speaking of entertaining, here comes into the booth David Dunwoody, boss man. You come home third tonight. I think you ran in every position in between. You had fresher tires than most there at the end. Tell us what you might have done different to be able to bring the 28 Storm Tracker 78 machine home with a win.
Block the 14, go another back straightaway. It's about the only thing I could have done. I think he had 10 lap fresh tires than me.
Yeah, it was. There were a whole there was a variation of tire strategies there at the end, and so it was really really fun to watch. You spent most of the race though in the 20, running around 20th. Was it just a situation of saving Tweety Bird until you needed to use him up, or was it, or was that all you had there in the early going?
I drove to like 4 wrecks back there because I kept getting in them. Had to avoid to the grass.
Well, Sharp didn't avoid the trees either.
I heard George of the Jungle, Bob of the Jungle.
Inside joke between old friends there. Sam, what do you have for Mr. Dunwoody this evening?
Well, David, I noticed with 10 laps to go, you were in 10th place. But on a couple of the restarts there at the end of the race, it was you knew that those O'Donoghue, Cannon, and several others had fresh tires. So on that last restart, Adam O'Brien moves up in front of you. Do you feel like it's at your best advantage to try and run that outside line and kind of push Adam at that point and hope for something going into the last 2 turns, or is it in your mindset, I really just want to keep those guys behind me the best I can?
I definitely knew those guys were coming with fresh tires. I was watching them every lap, and
yes, sir.
Adam kind of jumped up in front of me. I'm like, I'm just going to hit him and push him. And then if he leaves me the bottom, we'll turn under him.
Yeah.
And I know you saw that all night in the tri-oval. I was the only one hitting the grass.
Yeah, you were one of the few that was using up a whole lot of that tri-oval for sure. And in fact, there was a portion of the race where Mark actually pointed that out exclusively, that you were making up positions wholesale fashion by doing that.
I definitely made a few questionable moves 3 wide on the apron on the front stretch, and I thought I was going to have to make another one on the back stretch there. But yeah, I mean, we're just trying to get. We've had 2 rough races at Atlanta and Daytona. We were in the position to win both of those races and got wrecked. Thought we were going to get wrecked right there when they wrecked them big with 2 to go, when Cannon pushed me through the middle. But I think if I don't get through that wreck, we'll get to the front in that wreck, clear of it. I'm in it.
Well, you made it.
It was a masterful job, masterful.
Yeah, you made it. You made it through all the wrecks. We're looking at the side of the truck. Tweety does not have any dents or dings. I do not see a chicken anywhere on that thing though. So you're gonna have to go back.
You gotta find him. Hold on, you gotta find him. He's on there.
He's on there. I gotta find him. All right.
He's on there.
He's on there. So the inside joke between Andy Dunwoody that we're speaking with David Dunwoody is a longtime sponsor and friend of mine. And as an insider thing, there is my Racing Chicken emblem on every one of his trucks or cars. You just have to find it. Usually, the joke started when he painted my first one. He put the chicken on the underwing of the Indy car so that when I flipped over, you would see it. iRacing took that away, so now he hides it elsewhere. But good to have you in the booth, David. Good to see you up here. Good to see you running good, going fast, and having fun, as is the tradition here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. And it feels weird me telling you, you finished on the podium, you get the mic, brother. Friends, family, sponsors, shout-outs. It's all yours.
I got to thank Kendall for letting me run the Storm Tracker logo, Kendall for running the league, all the guys to the Black Magic guys, myself included, yourself included. We got Sebring next weekend.
Yes, we do.
Dr. Squatch, Dubby, Admin Box. He's been a long-time sponsor. I'm just happy to get him one on the podium. I know he joined on Adam's truck this year, which is great. And really just you guys for letting me put your logo on the truck at Daytona and Atlanta. And I know we got a couple more races coming back up.
Yeah, for sure. And so, David, it's good to see you up in the booth. It's good to see you. It's good to see you finally bring that 28 home in a podium position. Keep going fast, having fun, and we will see you next week, my man.
Great job, David.
Same great time, same great channel.
That's right. We're gonna get Andy Dunwoody out of here. He goes by both names, by the way, so don't think we're misnaming or in any way saying anything bad about Mr. Dunwoody. Good friend, long time backer of mine, and so glad to see him run well. Speaking of men running well, we've got second place Ryan O'Donohue. You brought out the Las Vegas paint scheme, and it's served you well here, Ryan. Second place today, just short. If only you had another lap, right?
Yeah, 10-4. We rolled the dice there. Hope I at least made it exciting.
My kingdom for one more lap.
Yeah, usually it's a thimble full of fuel. For you, it would have been one more lap. I don't know that Tanner would have held it through. I don't know if Tanner would have held it through turn one. Honestly, had that been the white and not the checker. But it was kind of a day where you spent most of it at the front, wasn't it?
Yeah, once we got rolling there on a long green, clean air out front, had a great line in both ends of the track, and was able to hold that lead, win a stage, and that was good for learning for the rest of the race too what was going to happen. Kind of got swallowed up on the ensuing restart for that final stage, but that was when it was time to gamble and stayed out and drew that caution, and we had him right where we wanted him, but didn't quite work out, but it was a great race.
Yes, it was. You bring it home second. Sam, what do you have for Mr. O'Donohue this evening?
Oh, I was just thinking, Ron. They were running late in the race, and there are a lot of fast trucks, but it seemed like everyone just had this propensity to want to get to the front. Can you just give us a little insight about the eagerness that a lot of these drivers had just to lead this thing?
Yeah, I wasn't quite expecting it that early in the late run there.
Exactly, yeah.
It was kind of a surprise, but made it work. And the biggest surprise was everybody coming to pit road so early. Kind of took advantage of that. I figured I'd just stay out and keep clicking off laps, and we were able to draw the caution. And the last restart, though, like I said, I had him right where I wanted him, but I was trying to time Dunwoody in front of me, and just missed it a bit and messed up my shift, but was able to get down to the bottom and yeah, one more lap.
One more lap.
For one more lap.
You did a great job, Ron.
Yes, sir. For one more lap, he would have traded his kingdom, but he does come home second. Ryan, the microphone is yours. Friends, family, sponsors. Anybody you'd like to shout out to? You got it, my man. Good looking truck, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Had some fun this week designing those. Definitely, you guys, P1 Broadcasting, you guys have been watching all the IndyCar races, all these broadcasts back, and you guys do a great job. I think I made my girlfriend a little nervous, but I'd like to thank her for all the time she lets me spend and
That's the
doing this
important
stuff. Yeah, Mass Surgical Supplies on a car, AMA, Kendall, all the admins, all their partners, Archway, Industrial Coatings, Black Magic Studios, Trak Racer, Rogue Energy, admin box, everybody watching. I hope we made it exciting.
You most certainly did.
There's no question. It was exciting. No question.
You most certainly did. Keep going fast, having fun, Ryan. I have a feeling this is not going to be the last time we talk to you up here, sir.
10-4. Appreciate you guys. See you next week.
Yes, sir. That is
Yes,
Ryan O'Donohue. He runs second here at Las Vegas, and that leaves us with only one more guy. That is the man of the hour, Tanner Hacker. Tanner, you've got Mark Murphy, Sam Crow in the P1 broadcasting booth. Have you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, you put it all on black, and it hit, brother. You and Jeremy made that pit stop under caution to get the extra 10 laps on gas. Yellow waves while you've got everybody trapped a lap down. We were kind of wondering if you two had the speed to stay up there, and you proved you did. Kind of walk us through the decision making to come to pit road then instead of waiting, and what your thought process was going from what had been a fairly pedestrian top 15 run to the leader.
Well, I knew I had a fast car. Then there, about mid-race, I just lost it going into 1 or 2 and spun out and got a little bit of damage. And that caution, I think it was in the second stage. Come down pit road, got the damage fixed. Still had a little damage, and I was wondering if I still had the speed in the car. And we was going through the last stage there, and I knew if I pitted with everybody else, I had no shot. So I said I've got to stay out and try to just hope this green flag run cycles out, and the caution flew, and I knew I had a shot then. That's on fresh tires. The fact the car is really fast on the bottom.
Yeah, you rode the speed on the bottom all the way to the front, and then once you got there, you didn't relinquish it. And I'm going to relinquish you into the very, very capable hands of Mr. Sam Crow, because I know Sam has a lot he wants to ask you, sir.
No, really, honestly, Tanner, congratulations on a well-fought win. Everyone that does this understands when you get into the late stages of a race and it's caution field and then you get into a green-white checker, just the nerves and up on the wheel, it can get the adrenaline going. So great job tonight. I did notice that throughout the event that the white line was your Homestead. Were you having trouble keeping the truck stabilized? I know you alluded to the fact that you did get loose at one particular point. So did you find that it was a little bit more stable for you on the bottom line?
Yeah, after the tires come in, the truck really wanted to hook that bottom line. It can make speed down there. And until late in the run, after about lap 20 in the run, I noticed it started to fall off and the higher line started to prevail. But in the short run, that you couldn't touch me on the bottom there, it seems.
Yeah, there were a couple of times where I saw that you dove it in hard on into 3 and was able to take advantage of some of the trucks that were committed for a little bit of a higher entry. And so you did a great job in regards to that. I'm super happy for you. Does this mean that you're going to find now that you got a win, are you going to be able to find a sponsor for that number 4 Toyota Tundra?
It's looking a little bare, so hopefully we can find somebody to add to the hood.
Well, if someone's watching tonight, you want to put your name on a truck that's put themselves in the winner's circle, Tanner Hacker would be the guy that you need to call.
Yes, sir. Hey, I want to thank you guys, though. Thanks for the AMA for letting me race with you guys tonight. I had a great time. Looking forward to next week.
Yeah, we're looking forward to next week, too. And so, as is the tradition here at the P1 Broadcasting Network, when you sit on the podium and you get invited to the booth, and especially if you win the race, you get to shout out friends, family, sponsors, anybody that you would like to thank, Tanner. I know the truck is empty, but I'm sure you've still got some people out there you'd like to give a shout out to through the interwebs, the broadcast. The floor is yours, sir.
Oh, yes, sir. I'd like to thank my wife, Becky, for letting me.
That's the important one.
Let me spend most of my Friday evening doing this instead of hanging out with her. So thank her for that. And I also thank Andrew Collins. He was my wingman during this race. We bounced a lot of strategy off each other. And I think he come away with a pretty good finish as well.
Yeah, that's always important to have somebody to bounce stuff off of, and always got to thank the wife. Although I will say this, mine is usually pretty glad to be rid of me for a couple hours on a Friday night. So maybe it works out, right? But
yeah,
go say hi to her, and we'll get you out of here, Tanner. Congratulations on a job well done, sir.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
fantastic job, Tanner.
You're more than welcome. And that's Tanner Hacker. He's going to be your winner tonight from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As Gary Gazzo likes to say, it's lost wages. Well, the man that gained the wages, he put it all on the line for just one roll, and he got it. And Sam, that's kind of the story tonight, is it not?
There was so much going on. I know I seemed a little spacey tonight, but there was just so much going on in so many aspects of the race. Even in the in-race chat, there was a lot of emotion that was being shared, even during the race. And then, of course, we saw a little bit of everything: racing incidences, and then incidences under caution. But it did not fail to produce another green-white checker finish that was just amazing to watch, and it put a new winner in victory lane tonight for Tanner Hacker. I know Ryan O'Donoghue wishes he had another lap, but the fact of the matter is that he didn't get it, and Tanner got to reap the victory out of this.
He did, and congratulations are in order to Tanner Hacker. He played the strategy just right, and he's going to bring home the win. We're going to pop up the schedule because we do have, if you like this, and how could you not like the action that the AMA Truck Series has produced, we've got a lot more of it coming. 1 week from tonight, we will be at Homestead Miami Speedway for the Florida Sunshine 200, and then we're going to round out the month of March with the Norfolk Southern 200 at Martinsville. That's going to be fun, Sam. Always fun to see the trucks at Martinsville. Will be off the first week in April.
Oh, boy.
And then we're going to have Bristol and Rockingham sandwiched in the middle. We'll have the last week in April off.
Can I race Rockingham? Please?
I'm sure.
I want to get a provisional for Rockingham.
I'm sure if you ask Kendall, he'd let you.
If you're listening.
Sam is a huge.
These are all tracks I love.
Yeah, Sam is a huge fan of Rockingham. So that's the upcoming schedule for the AMA Truck Series, and we've got a full slate coming here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. On Sunday, we're going to have Saturday off. If you need your iRacing fix tomorrow, check out the Velocity Online Racing YouTube channel. They're running their Indianapolis 500 tomorrow. Speaking of Indy 500s, the reason that this series is off on April 25th and 26th, Kendall Paul is going to run the second annual Interstellar 500. That happens at Indianapolis.
Wow.
You may see a familiar face in that race. I don't know that I'll be behind a microphone on the 26th of April, Sam.
Well, I know you're going to be racing this weekend, and I really wish you the best, Mark. I hope that Indy is kind to you. I hope that you get to pull out one of your best finishes there.
I've won at 500 miles at Indianapolis once, and anytime you can do that in the sim in real, in real life, it's the pinnacle. In the sim, it's the pinnacle of what we do as well. And so we go from the outside of row 4 tomorrow, and we're looking forward to it. That happens at 3 o'clock on the Velocity Online Racing channel. Garrett Godso will be on the call, so it'll be a stellar crew. Sunday night, we've got the Votive IndyCar Oval Series from Texas, 7:50 here on the P1 Broadcasting Network. And then normal service will resume next week. Monday night, you're going to have the IndyCar Open Series Top Split live from Fontana. That's going to happen at 8, and that will be followed immediately by the ISRA Open Wheel Series. That's Mike Rigney and his gang. They're going to be on at 9:30 on Tuesday. You've got the IndyCar Oval Series live. That's the top split for them. 8:15 from Texas, all times Eastern. And then Wednesday, the Horizon IndyCar Series. They're going to be at one of my favorite tracks, Sam. They're going to go to Motegi at 8 o'clock. That's going to be Ryan Eric King and I on the call. Same time, we're going to have dueling streams, the Formula Indy Series. They're going to have the Flash Photos Grand Prix of Belgium. That's Indy cars that run to Formula One rules. On Thursday, the AMA Black Magic Studios Grand National Series. That's going to happen at 8:20. Sam and I will be on the call. And that is going to round out the next week for the P1 Broadcasting Network. For Sam Crow, I am Mark Murphy, and everybody involved with the P1 Broadcasting Network. First, we'd like to thank our spouses, our wives, our girlfriends. They let us have all sorts of fun with some really cool toys, and so we got to thank them for their patience. So for the wonderful Miss Natalie, thank you. Definitely do appreciate that. Definitely do appreciate you and love you. We also do want to thank the first responders, the firemen, the police, the military, the EMTs, all the people that run into danger so that we can get out of it. We certainly thank you from the bottom of our hearts for the job that you do every night. Sam?
Let's loosen the belts and catch our breath.
I'm going to go reload the Maylocks next Thursday night. Same time. Sam and I will see you then.
Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate all of you.
Adios.